All right, welcome to the Franchise Time Machine. Let me see if I can hear myself. Yeah, okay, there we go. So Saturday is one of our more chill days. We don't have Ezra Denny and OOTP After Dark raiding into us. We don't have anyone streaming OOTP to raid into. And so a lot of times I just kind of do what I would normally be doing in the base game before I start streaming. And so tonight, what that'll be is we recently got from OOTP Developments a I mean, I kind of view it as a fix. I think it's also correctly seen as a new feature. Previously, when you imported a historical player, you were actually getting a 3-year blend. So if you requested the 1927 Babe Ruth, you'd be getting a blend of the 26, 27, 28 Babe Ruths. And when we realized that, I, I confirmed it on the forums asking, hey, is this what's happening? Like, I don't seem to be getting the 72 Carlton or the 696 Brady Anderson. And one of the OTP developments developers confirmed that, yes, like currently you get a 3-year blend. So then I and a few other folks asked, well, can we get a version where we just get the year we're asking for? And they've given it to us, so we have that now in the current most recent patch, which is great. It's a huge, to me, it's a huge improvement. I think it also goes to show how responsive OOTP is to the community that plays it. I surfaced this about a month and a half ago, and we already have a solution to it in the game, which I think is awesome. Also great because I do a lot of the things I stream include importing players from across history. And I had to pause doing that because I didn't want to keep importing 3-year blends, knowing that eventually I'd want to repeat those experiments with, what I consider the right version, right? The specific version that I'm looking for. So to kind of celebrate that, we're going to do what I think I probably would have been doing anyway, which is to take the 24 Mets, which is the most recent version of the Mets in the MLB season with ratings based on full season data. Right, there's a 25 season in OOTP26, so that's based on projections for this current season that's being played right now. I always prefer to do my Sims and historical stuff in a completed season, so that'd be 2024. If you watched an OTP25, you would have seen us using the 2023 season for the same reason. Star, welcome in. I'm just kind of setting up the sim tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 2024 Mets. I'm just going to import 5 or 6 of my favorite players, all-time favorite players. So we'll be getting a Ted Williams. We'll be getting a Willie Mays. We'll be getting the 1985 Dwight Gooden, which will finally import like the 1985 Dwight Gooden. So that'll be exciting. Who else? Probably David Wright, an actual Met. The problem with the Mets is the history isn't that great with like legendary, iconic players. So I tend to go back through history. I'm a pretty big fan of baseball history, so I have my favorites from across the eras. And then I'll probably think of like one or two more. We'll probably bring in 5 or 6 players. Oh, there'll be a Nolan Ryan. I think we'll bring in Nolan Ryan. So again, I don't even bring in the best players, right? Like Nolan Ryan, while he had 7 no hitters and has a major league record for strikeouts, it's not like he ever had a season where he was like, Randy Johnson dominant. He was just really good for a long time. But even then, like many seasons, he was a 500 or sub 500 pitcher. But he's one of those players that I would definitely like specifically paid money to watch play. Oh, you know what we'll do? Also, we'll bring in I think a Nomo and an Ichiro. And maybe we'll even steal the 2024 Otani. I don't know. No, I'm just kind of going by my favorite players. Um, I'm also a big fan of Aldhouse Radburn. Um, maybe we'll see him. I don't know. I don't want to bring in too many though. I still want to see like Mets on the roster. Yeah, the 84 doc is one of the 5 or 6 definites. So before that though, I need to finish up a couple of drafts. I already did the drafts. I just need to set up the roster. So let me do that real quick, and you'll get to see the crazy way I set up my bullpens. So if you don't know, most perfect drafts you get a grace period after it fires. You can still draft. The speed tournaments you do not. Once it fires, that's it. You cannot draft. So these fired at 10 o'clock. I drafted them before they fired. So I now have this grace period to do the roster stuff. And I know with the fatigue, I don't know if other people do this too, but I've been putting all my live tournament teams on pitch counts because I've noticed that if they don't get rest, if we don't get like a day off, they get fatigued even after 4 days rest. When they're turning the rotation, because they won't be 100%. I think that started with like when the fatigue settings got updated. Oh no, this is still. I'm doing a couple tournament things first. This isn't historic yet. This is still a perfect team. I've got to update these. I've got to set my pitching staffs and rosters before. Um, I think 10:35 Pacific time. Okay, what am I doing here? Oh yeah, pitching rotation. Let's see. You know what? The AI likes control way more than I do. We're going McCullers first. Smith, Shawver, Job, Nola, Bradley. Okay, and then let me set their pitch counts. McCullers, unfortunately, has pretty poor stamina. Smith Shawver's a little better. Job is great. He's not going to be on the pitch count. Nola's going to be 95, and Bradley will put it 90. Okay. And the bullpen. I'm actually a fan of like the people who just put everyone in middle relief. I think that's like a pretty interesting approach and pretty effective too. The main thing that solves for, and that I also solve for, is my understanding is if you aren't careful about setting backup roles for your relief pitchers, the AI will keep marching out a closer if you only have one closer identified. Even if they're tired, it'll keep marching them out there. And so I'm kind of solving for that. Anecdotally, I've found that to be true. I don't know if I haven't done an experiment to figure out if that's true. I actually don't know what that experiment might look like if I were to try it. The problem is a lot of the things that happen are things that just happen during the course of a season or a tournament, and it's hard to set those up as experiments. So instead, what I do is I make sure every bullpen role has at least 2 backups. Yeah, Clay Dog, I had a pretty good day today in Perfect Team. I'll zip us through those results actually after I do this. Couple of wins, couple of finals, 3rd and 4th place. It was a good day. So Clay Dog, are you done with your finals now? Your final exams? Are you able to jump back into Perfect Team and Congratulations. That must be no matter what happens during finals, it's always a good feeling to just be done. Just finishing is a victory that I think deserves to be celebrated. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome because I wasn't on. Sorry, Clay Dog. Yeah, I did a last minute cancellation. I was a little burnt out and I had some work stuff I had to do. But I still have some to do. I'm probably going to try to do it tomorrow. Um, well, I did not do a good job drafting any platoons here on this team. Okay, let's see. We're going to do... All right, Mullins can start in center. That means Chaz can play left field. We'll get his VR bat in there. And now my older kiddo is sick, is running a temperature. And the way our kind of childcare roles worked out today, I spent most of my time with her, and now I'm feeling pretty crummy. So I'm worried that I got whatever she's got. So I'm hoping this isn't my last stream in a while, but there's a chance it could be. Who was the better center fielder? 87? 80. So we'll switch them around. Okay, this wasn't one of my favorite... Yeah, 1,000 clubhouse stars, right? When someone... I forget who first told me that. It might have been Smiley Face Jane. It might have been Clay Dog. Someone told me about that. And I thought for 1,000 clubhouse stars, you got a level 5 Steve Carlton. I didn't know it was a level 0 Carlton. So when I first thought it was a level 5 Carlton, I was like, oh, I would spend 1,000 clubhouse stars for that. Now I feel less excited about it. It's probably still a decent deal if you play League. I mean, we all play League technically. I just don't focus on League, so I don't even know what I would do with that, Carlton. 1,000 points. Oh, if you feed it 25 rich hills, will you get to level 5? I have not boosted a variant yet this cycle. I will say probably the one downside of having the variant cap tournaments is I really haven't had to go too deep into the variants. Okay, yeah, I've acquired a bunch of variants, but I haven't boosted any. Claydog probably knows more about that though. Claydog was ahead of the curve on combinators, and I'm assuming on variants this cycle. You would buy it to auction. I'd be interested to see what the auction price will do, given I bet a lot of whales have a bunch of clubhouse stars. But just boosting in general, Claydog, does it feel more or less expensive than boosting in PT25? Now the boost you get is lesser too, though, right? It seems like it's almost like half the boost. And you don't get the chemistry, you don't get the combistry boost. About the same cost wise. Okay, that's good. That's good to know. Well, if it's the same cost wise though, and you get half the benefit. Well, it's 1,000 variant points for level 1, but then each level costs more variant points, right? If it's like PT25. I'm gonna switch accounts real quick. Oh, for the Rich Hill. Oh, wow. 1,000 boost points from one Rich Hill? Well, that sounds pretty good, actually. I think this is the other account I have. Yeah, I've got 12 minutes to update this roster lineup. Okay, I think this team I felt better about the draft on. Hey, Tom Tomato, good seeing you. We're about to. I'll do the pack giveaway for him in a second. Um, I have to get these two perfect draft lineups and pitching staffs done. Then we'll do the pack giveaway form, and then we'll start working on the sim. That way, if anyone has to go to bed, you can go ahead and fill out the form before taking off. Okay, is there anyone I want to move into the rotation? Yes, I think Pepio is going to replace Pavetta. I don't love Pavetta's HRA, so we'll get him out of there. I don't understand why sometimes when I do this, it automatically updates the position. Other times I have to manually do it. I've never figured out. Is it because I'm in this period between when it fired and when it starts? All right, let's see. Who's going to be my number one here? I think I like Bradish, then Brown, and then Senga. Then Gallon, then Pepe. Yeah, okay, that's good. All right, bullpen wise, I like Pavetta as a stopper. I don't have a real good lefty stopper to pair with him. I don't like Abbott's low HRA, although he might be the best match. We'll put Medina as the closer. Yeah, we'll go Abbott as a lefty stopper. And then I like Sheehan a lot as a setup. Put Mesa in there too. And then I wasn't able to get enough good lefties, so we've got our middle relief and long relief will be all righties. Barrios. I don't know if you heard my dog's stomach rumbling. He's been fed. If you were here, he would act like he's been starved, but he's always trying to get extra food. Okay, I'm going to leave it like this. I'll feed him, and then my wife will come home, and he'll follow her around, looking all sad, and then go into his food bowl as if he's not been fed. And I'm like, no, I fed that guy. Don't fall for it. I do go 13 pitchers for live tourneys, and I put the starters on a pitch count. I've actually considered going to 14. Clay Dogs tried that trick too, but it doesn't work living alone. I have not tried openers yet. Oh, that's good to hear. The opener bugs from PT20. Okay, that will make me a lot more willing to try them out for sure. The real downside of Bradish is his stamina is terrible. So he forces you to go into your pen pretty early. Yeah. Cruz one last shot. Let me tell you my weekend tournament wins. Amazing. You know, we keep talking about this cruise, but when is it? Is it coming up? Like, is it right around the corner? Because I think that like you're suddenly going to be gone, and we'll be like, oh, he must be on the cruise. Oh, it's not till July. Okay, give us a little bit of warning so that we can really dive into the the cruise prep. Let's set up our platoons. Let's see, against lefties. Royce Lewis is going to be really good. Pajes will be good. Now Gunner's still going to be excellent, so we don't necessarily need to move him around. I think PCA only gets nerfed a little too, surprisingly. But I think we might still, just to, because he just needs rest anyway, I might just platoon him. And then we'll put... Christel's got a huge eye. I still like PCA's better, but if we're gonna... PCA's gonna need rest, I'd rather he rest versus lefties. So we'll take him out now. I don't mind Pajes in right field. Yeah, so we'll put Taylor in left, Pajes in right. Pajes or Walker clean up. Actually, we'll put Gunner third, and then Pajes fifth. There we go. I like that better. Royce Lewis. I think this is fine. Tried using followers, but still got used as relief even without a prime. Oh, interesting. Wait, what prep is there besides packing? I guess I'm confused. Or unless the prep means like buying the stuff you need to pack, like sunscreen and Dramamine. Do you need to pack Dramamine? I assume those giant ships are pretty stable. That might be a bad assumption, though. Okay, PCA, we're going to let you steal. My team sliders are set to like almost no base stealing, so anyone with an individual stealing slider is basically getting the green light. You barely feel anything? Okay. Yeah, Star, I don't know either. I think what I need to do is there are several streamers who have VODs up with their, that talk about setting up the followers, openers and followers. So I'll have to check one of those out. Okay, so let's take a look here. Hold on. I don't know if I have to switch accounts. Let me check real quick. I'm going to take us on a quick tour of... I had a pretty good day today, as Clay Dog mentioned. Okay, we had a semifinal finish in live breakfast on this account. But today was so good that doesn't even get shown on screen tonight. Oh, actually, let's do the pack giveaway form first. Let's do that. You barely feel a thing? Is that what that's what she said is for? Talk video. I have to admit, my brain filled that in at first, but I decided to censor myself. You barely feel anything. An Edwan stream mentioned it, and maybe CFC would had a YouTube video. Okay, yeah. Yeah, those are two pretty good sources. I don't know if Lap has ever done followers and openers, but Lap also has really good instructional videos on YouTube. In fact, my understanding is he used to do those before he started streaming. Okay, so the text in here is all old. This is from the Hall of Fame stream. So in tonight's stream, we will be celebrating a new feature in OOTP26 that now allows us to import a specific single season of any player. Before this change, all imported historical player profiles were a blend of 3 seasons. Were based on a blend of 3 seasons. Okay, if you didn't know that, you're not alone. I showed this data last night, or 2 nights ago when I streamed last. When I went to the forums and had OOTP developers confirm that we were getting a 3-year import, I was like, oh, that's a big surprise to me, and I play a lot of base game. Let me put a survey out there, and Dr. Dynastic and EVC and Laptop Hound helped me out by sharing the link to the survey in their streams, so we got a pretty good turnout. What do you think you're getting when you import a specific player season? And about 80% of us thought we're getting the specific single season that we asked for. And only 20% thought that we're getting some version of multiple seasons. And so I was like, okay, I'm not alone. Other people also think we're getting a single season, and we're not. And then I asked, well, what do you want when you ask for a specific single season? And almost 95% of the responses were, I want the single season I asked for, not multiple seasons. Not a surprise. Yeah, well, Talkmado, if you're... I was surprised too, except in the forums, there are people saying, like, no, I want multiple seasons. And I was just like, I don't understand the rationale for that at all. But what OOTP Developers did was great. You now have the option to do 1, 3, or 5. So for the 95% of us who wanted one single season, that's now an option. For the people in the forum who are saying, no, I like this as multiple seasons, then they can keep it as 3 or 5. But yeah, I don't understand why people would want that. And I didn't ask in the survey. I didn't care to ask in the forum. I was like, okay, great. You can be part of the 5%. So yeah. Yes, Rev Jr., I think all the historic sims we've done before, they are subject to change. And earlier, 85 Gooden came up. I would always import 85 Gooden to a lot of my all-time import sims. And it always underperformed. The same with the 72 Carlton. Those are 2 like all-time great seasons, and those pictures would never live up to it in the Sims. I mean, don't get me wrong, they were still good, but they were not as good as I would expect it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to now actually getting the actual 85 Gooden. I've been like, ever since I found out what was going on, I've been like dying to import him, and we didn't use him 2 nights ago, because 2 nights ago we did an experiment where we were looking for the peakiest seasons, where it was like a great season surrounded by 2 average or mediocre seasons, and his 85 was surrounded by 2 pretty good seasons, so I couldn't use it. Takmado says, he can understand it, but would want to know the specifics. Stratomatic has all-time player cards, which take the best 7 seasons of a player's career to base a card off of. If you knew what the criteria were, what they were choosing, it would be okay. Yeah, and I think part of what I think surprised me was that like there was no indication that we're getting a 3-year blend. But like it's not like it was a secret because I know in the forums, someone from OTP said, "Oh no, yeah, that's because you're getting a 3-year blend," and I and the several of us were like, "What?" So it was great that they were like fully open about it, and then it was even better that they were like, "Oh, okay, we didn't like. Okay, we'll look into what it would take to give you a 1-year option," and and of course, like since the default before was 3, they left that as an option, which I think was great for anyone who wants to use that. But yeah, it's just weird. Like, if I order a hamburger, I don't want a hot dog. Or I guess maybe a better analogy, just like if I order pepperoni pizza, I don't necessarily want a pepperoni and sausage pizza. Now I'd be fine with that, but my kids would not. They would be pretty disappointed. So I was like, yeah, it's just odd that I asked for a 96 Brady Anderson and I don't get that back. But now it's fixed, and this is part of like to me this is celebrating that because I was super impressed with how quickly they turned around the solution to this. And I said this when we did this. You want pepperoni? Here, take this meat lovers. Right, it has 2 pepperoni and 2 other meats that are kind of the same. Exactly. Oh, but here's the problem though, and this is what we had the other night. Some of these players, actually all the players that we chose seasons that it's like you don't get 2 other meats. You get pepperoni and you get like pineapple and I don't know what else. I don't know. Mushroom. I don't know. No, people don't like olives, right? And olives. So if this 96 Brady Anderson is pepperoni, then the 95 and 97 are like pineapple and tofu. There you go, tofu. So it was like it's subtraction by addition. And people were surprised that every time I would mention the 72 Carlton. But 72 Carlton had a 201 ERA plus and an 11.1 WAR. And on either side of it were 111 and 102 ERA plus and 3.3 and 4.1 WAR. I just described Tom Mato's favorite pizza. Pepperoni, pineapple, and olives. Well, there you go. Tonk Mato is a fan of the 3-year blend. He's the 5%. Yeah, have your local pizza shop rename it the Brady Anderson. So yeah, this is meant to be a celebration of OTP getting us that change so quickly. So we will import some of my all-time import the peaks some peak seasons of some of my all-time favorite players and add them to the 2024 New York Mets, who finished, I believe, 3rd in the NL East and lost to the Dodgers. No, yeah, to the Dodgers in the NLCS. Okay, here are the players. Be imported. Seasons TBD during stream. Okay, who do I want to bring in? Or I would say some seasons TBD. Right off the bat, we're going to take a 1985 Gooden. We're going to take a Ted Williams. We're going to take a Willie Mays. We'll take a Hideo Nomo. Oh, my dog is dreaming. I can hear him whimpering. We'll take an Ichiro Suzuki. Now, here's the thing. Ichiro does not sim well. In fact, a lot of times he gets benched by the AI. Rev here says it makes sense why the Adam Frazier from 2016 sim did so bad. His wars were 0.3, 4.1, and 0.1 in the years around his All-Star campaign. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so Adam Frazier should sim better. We saw Carlton and Anderson both sim better. Yeah. And the reason sometimes you don't notice is if you're bringing in like a Barry Bonds or a Babe Ruth, they have so many good seasons that chances are you're going to hit one that has 2 good seasons on either side. And so it's not going to be that nerfed. And then if you have modifiers on, it's going to, if you nerf it on top of that, it's hard to know that you're not getting what you asked for. Let's see. That's 4 batters and 1 pitcher. So let's add a Nolan Ryan. And let's see. Should we add another pitcher? Oh, no. We got Nomo in there. We've got Gooden, Nomo, Ryan. And then we got 3 batters, 3... Yeah. I think that's good. And then the other thing we need to test is... And maybe we'll do this tomorrow. I need to do an NEL import test. Because in OOTP26, they were still getting nerfed. And I made a small indication in the forums like, hey, now that they're major league stats, can we get a non-nerfed import? But I didn't make too much noise because I didn't know how many other people care about that. And, that change happened during OOTP25. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there because if it was going to be worked on for OOTP26, I was fine with that. I didn't want to make a ton of noise because there was already a bunch of stuff that was getting worked on. We did an early sim where it did seem like they were importing more correctly, but I haven't really done a deep dive into that. And so I have a roster file that is some of my favorite all-time NEL seasons. And maybe tomorrow night it makes sense to revisit that, and then we'll try to import them. Now that we know the 1-year part is fixed, now let's see if the NEL import part is fixed. And let's see how they look. And the reason you can see that they're nerfed is, let's say you pick a specific year of Josh Gibson. What year did we use? I think I used if I look it up, I can tell you. And it wasn't, it was like, it was not like a typical Josh Gibson season 2. Because I think, you know what it was? I think it was for like an all rookie season team. It was the 33 Gibson where he had an 1186 OPS. And when I imported him, he had just a ton of orange and yellow ink. And I was like, this is clearly not right. And then when I went into the 1930, I started in 1993 save. So I could go into the save, go into the Negro Leagues, go into his team, and I found his profile, and it looked like an 1186 OPS profile. And so somewhere between that profile and importing it, it was getting nerfed. And so I think it'll be interesting to test out that roster file, and we'll try that tomorrow night. Because then a lot of my all-time favorite roster files I can update, because it was too much work to go dig up the editor data for the NEL players, type it all in to correct for the nerfing, and so if they import correctly, that'll be a big benefit too to a lot of the stuff we like to do. Okay, so this is Pedro is a good suggestion, Reb Junior, but I think with 3 pitchers, that's already going to be the bulk of the rotation, and then with 3 batters, I think. Oh, you know what? I'm also taking 3 outfielders. I don't know how I feel about that. But those are the first 3 players that came to mind. Well, Ichiro, kind of, because I was like, I should have some Japanese player representation here. The outfield definitely was not the strength of that team, so I'm kind of okay with that. The other place where we could use another player would be at second base. And even though I'm a Mets fan, growing up I played second base in Little League in high school. And I will say my favorite second baseman was Ryan Sandberg. So maybe we'll add a Ryan Sandberg here. Well, Kaz Matsui was far from was not even like on the horizon at that point. So I've told this before, I think, in the stream, but my nickname on the high school baseball team was Lenny, for Len Sakata, because that was the only Asian baseball player any of us knew. So things have changed a lot for the better. And so, outside the baseball team, my friends knew I was a Mets fan. And so, like, they would see, the guys from the team saying, "Oh, hey, Lenny, what's up?" And they'd be like, "Oh, like, do they call you that because of Len Dykstra?" And I'm like, "No." No, that's not why. Right, because I squish rabbits. That's quite a literary reference there for this stream. So, uh, no, it's good. Literary is allowed. All right, so we're gonna end up adding 7 players. That feels like too many. Although I am looking forward to seeing how many strikeouts a good Nolan Ryan can rack up in 2024. Maybe we'll save Nomo and Ichiro for, like, I'll just do my favorite Japanese players some other time. And then that'll let me bring in a Pedro. Yeah, 85 Gooden, a peak Pedro, and a peak Nolan Ryan. And then Ted Williams, Willie Mays, and Ryan Sandberg. Okay, this will be fun. I'm going to put this in the chat without putting in the years. Glad I was a lit major and still had to Google it. Wow. Even if you don't remember the deep tracks. Even if you don't remember the novel, have you not seen the movie either? Or, sorry, you did read the novel, but have you not seen the movie? The way I said that made it seem like you had neither read the novel nor seen the movie, but you just said you read you read it. All right, the years will fill in later, but this way at least people can put in their guesses. Okay. This is the form we use for everything, so this does have the bad season questions in it too. Just guess no. It will not have the lowest regular season win percentage in the majors. It will not finish last in the NL. I just don't want to take them out because I just want to be able to copy this form anytime I want to use it without worrying about like which version am I copying. Talk Beta was a baseball major, torn rotator cuff ended your desire to go to college. All right, will it win its division? These are the positive side questions. Will it make the playoffs? Will it win the division? Will it make the World Series? Will it win the World Series? Will a player on this team win the Cy Young Award? We're probably going to have several Cy Young winners on this team. So, will a player on this team win the MVP award? Now, keep in mind, we are going to be going up against 2024 Shohei Ohtani. And in every sim we've done so far in 2024, he has gone 50-80. 50 home runs, 80 stolen bases. And I don't know that we've won an MVP over him yet. We might have to wait for Creator Roster for that. Even with Creator Roster, I don't know if it's going to happen because whatever season he has, if you sprinkle 80 stolen bases on top of it, that stuff is like catnip to the AI. So I don't know that we can ever get past that. And then the last question in the Survivor style section is how many regular season games will this team win? Now, we will only be awarding first place in this upfront section. And even then, first place might not be awarded. In that case, all other ties are going to be finished in this numerical section, and that'll be based on whoever gets the most closest answers. So everyone gets to come back in at that point. The first question in that section, how many games behind will this team finish in this division? If you think it's going to win the division, just put 0. Now for this, we are going to use the mouse hover because we're adding some really good players, but it's still the Mets. So they might not finish first in every category. But, what will be the rank 1st to 30th in runs scored, batting average, home runs hit? On the defensive side, ERA, strikeouts thrown, defensive efficiency. Now, don't get me wrong. With these additions, we probably will be first in several of these, but maybe not all. It might be a good strategy to go first on all of them, though, if you're not sure which ones. But this will be a very good team. Okay, and then the batting section. What will be the highest batter WAR on the team? How many regular season home runs will be hit by the team leader in home runs? And then batting average, lowest and highest, 300 plate appearances. OPS, lowest and highest. Now keep in mind, we're keeping several original Mets. In fact, mostly original Mets. So there will be some low batting averages and OPSs. And then what is the highest batter strikeout percentage? Again, minimum 300 plate appearances. And then on to the pitching side. Highest pitching WAR. How many strikeouts thrown by the pitcher who leads this team in strikeouts? And remember, we've got some flamethrowers on this team. All right, highest and lowest ERA, at least 100 innings pitched. Highest and lowest WHIP, at least 100 innings pitched. And then, you know what? I don't like this HRA one. What can I replace it with? Well, yeah, this one's in there, though, because of low ball. Why don't I do this? Let's move the WAR question to the back. Because whoever gets if there's a tie at the end, whoever got the question closest to the end correct actually gets the tie break. And I think WAR should be the ultimate tie break. Pitcher WAR. And maybe we'll move batter WAR to the end of the batter section too. Oops, I went too far. Okay. Okay, so those are the questions. I'll put this table back up for a second. It is a little long, but we've had a lot of fun with the tiebreakers lately, so I'm going to keep it pretty long. War is actually good for nothing, as the song told you. Amazing reference. So Walla Walla was 20 games. Are you talking about in your perfect team league play? You're 20 games over 500, then went 4-18 to end the season. Now you're in a game 163. Oh, your packs only league team. That's a bummer. Oh wait, I forgot to add the context. Link to form for tonight's 10-pack giveaway. Now again, for those of you who can wait, you'll get a little more information, like what version seasons I'll be picking. But if you do have to go, at least you can get a form in. Sorry, I need to go to my alt here to pin this message. Okay, I think it pinned. Did it pin? Yeah, it looks like it pinned. Okay. Why wait? The rush of running in the dark is the best experience. That's amazing. That's great. Okay, I'm restarting my browser to get the latest updates on my tablet. I mostly use it to keep an eye on ad breaks and stuff. But when Twitch thinks I'm not logged in like it does right now, it's really helpful so I can pin forms and stuff. All right, let's look at a couple of tournaments from today. This is just a stall to give people extra time to fill out their forms. I know we still have time to choose what seasons we're going to import. But... Okay, first up is on the Learned League Llamas team, which used to be my main. We had a very nice run in Yada Yada Yada, which is a daily double PD. Wait, did that change formats? Did I win it after it changed formats? It may have changed formats. Yeah, it became an around the horn and then I won it. So I'll put it up here. This is... Oh, hold on. Before I do that. I'm gonna screenshot some of these. So let me get ready to screenshot. Okay, here we go. This is daily yada yada yada. We won this one. 3 diamond packs. Unfortunately, it was not Clubhouse Stars, but we had one series go the distance. All the others we managed to win without having to go 7 games. So let me screenshot without the U1 screen on it. And then, so here's what we got in terms of, a lot of this, people have said this, a lot of it is a lot of RNG on your pitcher round. Hey, Claydog, congratulations. I know you were sweating that out. Claydog has made the wild card playoffs in High Diamond. So good luck making perfect league, Claydog. That's awesome. Oh, spoiler alert from OTP. 3,000 perfect points showed up, so Walla Walla knew that they had won the game. Well, it's a bummer that the spoiler happened, but congrats on making it. Oh, I didn't realize you get clubhouse stars for making the playoffs at that level. That's awesome. Congrats. That's fantastic. All right, so yeah, I do agree when people say there's a lot of RNG in the pitcher around here, and I think Fernando as a high diamond is actually like a perfect quality pitcher, and there are some like less less desirable perfect pitchers, but I happen to get a couple of the really good ones. And so I was really happy with the pitcher around here, so I knew I had a chance. Also helpful is that I got Otani. Um, I took a live Otani in the first base round. There were a couple of like slightly better hitters, but I liked that he was going to give me pitching as well. Although actually his pitching sucked. So it actually did not help me much at all. How did he do as a batter though? Well, he had 10 bombs in a tournament, so that's pretty good. 10 bombs in 32 games. The average was not great. The OPS was only 888, but at least he was productive. His pitching was terrible. So much for that plan. Oh, and high silver, you start making clubhouse stars for making. Oh, that's cool. So I've probably made some clubhouse stars for that without realizing it. That's awesome. Well, Otani doesn't pitch in 2024, so he keeps winning the MVP purely as a batter. Yeah, so we got lucky in the pitching round, and then on the batters, I think at this stage, it's not diluted with a lot of like bad. I mean, there are some bad cards in there, but you can usually get, a top tier card. I did end up with the Diamond Eric Davis, which I think is still a pretty good card in center field. And so I was pretty happy with that. I had to make sure. Well, okay, so this year Otani could still play first base. In previous years, if you took Otani in the first base round, you had to make sure you got a first baseman later because the Otani was more of a DH card, didn't have first base, but kept showing up in the first base round. And so if you forgot to take a first baseman, you were kind of screwed. So, we got pretty lucky here. We got the perfect Jackie at second, the Rosen at third, who I actually ended up moving to first because I had Candy Jim. I think I got Rosen as my extra hitter because I was looking for a first baseman because I kind of forgot that this year's Otani can play first base. Because I had Candy Jim as my third baseman. Um, got lucky with this Yastrzemski. I ended up this live judge is so good. I still took him over other historic cards. How did he end up doing? Wow, he was terrible. He hit 197 with 9 bombs. So I succeeded despite despite him, not because of him. Yastrzemski 336 with 9 bombs. Rosen only 226. Candy Jim 322 with 13 bombs. Actually, let's just go look at the stats here. Who carried the day? Candy Jim, Gabby Hartnett with a 1088. Yastrzemski with a 1073. Lindor with a 933. And then Eric Davis a 928. And on the pitching side, as expected, the starters I got were all pretty good. Everyone's under 4.5 ERA. Fernando had a slightly higher whip, but that's because his control is not great. I think that's why he rates as a 90 whatever instead of 100. Right, he's got 76 control. All the other hundreds are almost 100 or higher. So, yes, Kitty Foo Foo is correct. I drafted playoff Judge. That's right. So that was pretty good. I was pretty happy with that. Let me screenshot the pitching staff and the batters. Okay, so that was a win in a daily. Let me switch accounts real quick. I'll show you another win from today. This is from a traditional tournament, bronze. There you go. We can see it from the login screen. Winner, live bronze. Now, in the past week, I think I've won live silver once and live bronze twice. So here's another win. This one got tougher as it got deeper into it. We had 2 game 7s and then a game 6 in the final. Look at this. We got past Mr. Audit in the semifinal. Mr. Audit, one of the best tournament players out there. He does have some players I don't have. His catcher duo is completely different. He went with Encarnacion Strand, which I know a lot of people do. I usually don't. He went with a couple of irons, which is interesting. I wonder if these are irons that he just didn't bother updating because since the live update, and he's still making it to the final or the semifinal because he's just that good. He is so good. Yeah, I think all these irons are just irons that he didn't bother replacing when they got. Yeah, they're all former bronzes. Mr. Audit's so good, carrying 4 demoted cards that are irons now into the live bronze semifinals. I feel good though. A lot of his pitchers I have. His lefties are very different from my lefties, but a lot of his righties I also have on my team. Okay, so I feel pretty good about that. I mean, if you're gonna emulate someone's roster, Mr. Audit's a pretty good one to emulate. So yeah, he's a tough matchup. So I'm glad we got past him in the semifinal. What were the scores like in that series? Let's see. We won game 1. We traded wins and losses, then lost 2 in a row. So we had to come back and win 2 in a row to take it. That's clutch. That's pretty clutch. Even to the Flames, we fell behind 2-1 and then won the last 3. Okay, I bet what's happening here. See how his pitchers are not lasting long and getting rocked? We won 9-0 and 11-0. I think this is from my fatigue management. And I bet his starters were his starters probably started the game tired, which is what was happening to my starters before I started doing pitch counts. Let's see. Let's see what his path to the final looked like. I guess I should say what their path to the final looked like. I don't know. I don't know them at all. So. Um, Wait, what? Was I looking at the wrong team? I want this team. Oh, it's Gorgo. You know, they had rest. Gorgo had rest coming into this. So it may not have been fatigue. Because they would have had a chance to have well rested starters. And their bullpen would have had 2 days to rest up too. It could just be RNG there. We might have just gotten lucky at the end there. We won 3 in a row there to take it. All right, so that was Bronze Live. Now, we didn't win another one, but we did finish second in another daily draft. So let me switch over to that account. All right, so this is, yeah, you can see it from the login screen. Second place, daily afternoon nap. This is a best of 5, so it's a very different feeling tournament, but it's a live perfect draft. Are you sensing a theme? Live bronze, live perfect draft. I do lots of live tournaments, so I know the live card set pretty well. And so I don't play gold or diamond or open, but there are few enough of those that I kind of know those now just from playing the perfect drafts and from perfect team actually. So we won this one. Is this a McCadcar team? Is this a McCadcar alt? Could be. I know she uses that axe logo. Man, that'd be big if we beat McCadcar and Mr. Audit in tournaments today. But very few easy matchups here. 2-1, 2-1. We only had 2 sweeps out of the 6. So let's see what our draft looked like here. These are all silver and iron pitchers, so yeah, I must have used all the high picks. Yeah, all my high picks are in the lineup. So we got lucky. We got Aaron Judge in round 1. I feel like if you don't get Judge or Otani in round 1, you're already kind of scrambling to make up for that. I mean, there's a lot of good like next tier perfect cards. Like I think the Gunner, um, the Lindor. I think there's like a lot of decent cards, but I think Judge and Otani are kind of on their own level. Yeah, Bobby Witt Jr. Even the Soto with that huge eye. There's like several good perfect cards, but I think they're all like a tier below the Judge and Otani. So we're already off to a lucky start. I didn't feel like I got great diamonds. I took Jackson Merrill. He's got good contact power, doesn't have eye, but at least center field is settled, so I don't have to be looking for a center fielder. I also went with Corey Seager for the same reason. Shortstop is now settled. And so it's a lot easier to find like first baseman, third baseman, whatever at other levels. But this way I'm not having to search for center fielders and shortstops. I do like to try to get a good hitting catcher in the gold. So I got Logan O'Hoppe. Kind of rounded out the infield with Bregman and Lowe. Or is Brandon Lau? I think he might be. The problem with Lau is he's pretty splitty. He hits righties really well. So when I get him, I'm usually looking for like a Trey Turner or Bo Bichette to balance him out versus lefties. So we got the Trey Turner, and I put him at second base, but then I didn't have enough good VL bats, so I still ended up playing Lau anyway. And then I managed to cobble together a pitching staff for silver and below. Now, I think one of the big things about live is there are a ton of good live silver pitchers. And I've been leaning into that pretty hard in these live drafts. And this isn't even like half of them. I've got my rotation is all silver, I think. No, I started Sean Burke. Wow. I forgot that. I think I started Burke to get a little more stamina in the rotation, and because his ratings are actually still decent. But yeah, there's like I would say at least 15 silver live pitchers that I wouldn't mind having in my rotation. And so chances are you'll get some of them. And so I've been now I often will take gold starting pitchers, but the good thing is like if I get a lot of gold good hitters, I will grab those bats because what you don't find at silver and below is power in the live cards. So I'll take power bats if I can, and then take pitching in silver. Yeah, Togmado, I think that philosophy's worked for me in the live drafts. I'm still terrible at regular historic perfect drafts. It's only in the live traditional original perfect draft format that I do well. Everything else I have to do double PD or whatever it might be. Just because I'm actually very bad at the traditional perfect draft format. So yeah, that was a pretty productive day today. And I just got found out I got knocked out of a perfect draft, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign up for one real quick, and then we'll go populate our roster. He never said it was a good strategy; it's just your strategy. That's awesome. That's great. Has Seawit posted his drafting video to YouTube yet? I do not know. I think my main problem is I'm probably not taking pictures early enough in those traditional perfect drafts. Okay, now Clay Dog told me that one of the tournaments has changed format to a nearly perfect and perfect around the horn. Is it struggling to sleep? Yeah, positional draft. Wait, it doesn't say that it's perfect to nearly perfect. Claydog, is this the one that you said is around the horn, but it's nearly perfect to perfect? It is? Okay. I'm surprised they don't actually state it in here because that's a very popular format. The nearly perfect and perfect is super popular. Okay. This is not full enough yet, though. I have other tournaments I'm going to pop in that are more full. Live breakfast, I think I'm already in. Yeah, I already have an alt in live breakfast. That's one of my bread and butter tournaments there. I mean, we just won the yada yada yada. Should I do that again? That's the around the horn. Or is there a weekly I should be in? Okay, I started playing rocking chair because I think I made it to the semifinals of a weekly rocking chair, and now I feel compelled to keep joining them. Oh, we're already in that? Okay. Okay, well, this is another of my favorite formats, the Diamond and Gold. It is back. Oh, no, no, sorry. Gold Silver is my favorite, but I will play Diamond Gold too. Let's try that out. Okay, we're good there. All right, let's start building that roster now. Let me pull up a BREF. All right, and let's look up which. Let's go in the order, I guess, of the form. Let's look up what Ted Williams you want. Actually, you know what? I need to hit the restroom. So let me. Or how are we on ad rolls? Okay. Give me 3 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll pick our seasons. All right. I'll be back shortly. All right, I am back. Thanks for your patience. Let me get this bref up here on the screen. And let me start a notepad file too for the roster. All right, so again, one of the reasons we use baseball reference is the baseball reference ID is the same as the OOTP ID, which is here in the URL. So Willie TE01. Now, tons of options here. Definitely recommend see what's Discord. Might be the only OTB Discord that Clay Dog's semi-active in. Did you convert me to Notepad, Clay Dog? Because I feel like I've been copying and pasting into Notepad for a long time because it's free. Let's see. Now, I think, one knee-jerk reaction is to go to the season he hit 400, which, does make a lot of sense. What was I using before? Was I using Google Docs? Because I would build the rosters in Google Sheets. And I feel like I've always been pasting them into Notepad, but I don't know. But I'll still give you credit. That's fine. Yeah, so usually if it's like a full roster, I need to get all the positions, so I do those builds in Google Sheets for sure. But I don't know how to export from Google Sheets to a text file. So the reason to use, you can use any program as long as it gives you a TXT output, because it's a text file that you need. And so here's what Claydog's talking about. So I've been typing this in as we go. Right, it's the player ID, the year, and then the destination. Star remembers back in the late 90s trying to convince the multinational that you're at to pay a $10 license fee for TextPad. Word came back from Asia that licenses would not be bought and we should continue using the shareware version. All right, let's see. You know what? I think maybe we do go with the 400 season. It is the highest OPS. It's the highest OPS plus as well. I usually like to take a post war season, partly because he's got the big 43 home run season here. That's his career high. But from a rate perspective, this 41 is probably the best. So we'll go 41. And, it's the iconic season he hit 400, so I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that as if, I'm not fine with any other amazing Ted Williams season. Let me just make sure I got Gooden's player ID right. You'd think I'd know it having imported him so many times. DWO1. Yep, got that right. And then the next one will be which Willie Mays are we going to take? Willie Mays, another one where it's hard to go wrong. There's so many good ones. Hank Aaron's a little tougher because Hank Aaron is like he's got I think I was in a chat with Spore once and I described it as like he's got a 105 career for Hank Aaron, but his individual seasons are like high diamond or 100s, but they add up to a 105 career, whereas like Ted Williams and Willie Mays, they have 105 seasons. And I was exaggerating. I think Aaron probably has like a 102 or a 103 season in there, but a lot of him is just like the longevity and the pure consistency. Whereas like with Mays and Mantle and Williams, you can find these really like peak seasons that stand out. But Mays has a bunch of them. And I think the earlier we get him, the better the glove is going to be too. This is a later career Mays, but he had his highest OPS plus is in 65 when he's 34 years old. And that was back when like people would fall off a cliff when they hit 30. And he had 3 double-digit WAR years after turning 31, which is awesome. Oh, you thought that was a face cam on the bottom right? Yeah, you thought I was this dude down here? Yeah, let me stop distracting you with that. Alright, let's see. I mean, the 51 home run season has a lot of appeal, but the the OPS isn't bad, and the OPS plus is actually one of the top seasons. I really like this 54 season for the combination of batting average and power. Usually end up taking the 54. The crazy thing about this 54 season is he didn't play the entirety of 53. Could you imagine not playing professional ball for a whole year and then coming back and ripping off a 10.4 WAR season with 13 triples, 41 bombs, a 345 average, and a 1078 OPS and winning the MVP? I mean, what a stud. So I think that combination of power and average I really like. So I think we're going to take the 54. So Mays W01 1954. All right, next up is Pedro Martinez. Mets legend, but we're not going to limit ourselves to a Mets season here. We're just going to go with best available. This lady is not me, by the way. That's not me. Okay, how about up? Okay, these video game stats are just amazing. 0.737 whip. 291 ERA plus. I mean, they're just ridiculous statistics. 2000 Pedro Martinez. Insane. Now, if we really want to go for strikeouts, we'd go with that 99 Pedro season with a 13.2 strikeouts per 9. But for sure, dominance is the 2000. For me, at least. For me. Ryan and Pedro competing for the Cy Young. Well, don't forget the 85 Gooden, too. We didn't have to look him up because I already know what year I want from Gooden, but he had a 12.2 WAR that year. Nolan Ryan. Now, this is one where peak Ryan is not as impressive a lot of times because he does have control issues. But, the 81 strike shortened year, but still an amazing season, 195 ERA plus. Yeah, his whip is always going to be questionable because the walks are always so high. Um, I really enjoyed grabbing one of these like 40-year-old Ryans just because of the idea of a 40-year-old guy just dominating on the mound is fun to me. Um, what he doesn't have, if you look, is a season where he has like a peak ERA plus with a peak strikeouts per nine. The closest he comes is this 142 ERA plus and 11.5 strikeouts per nine as a 40-year-old. Yeah, and so that's 87. Takmado was talking about 90, 91. Those walks per nine though are still pretty high. They're in the threes though. He's got, once he gets it under control, like starting around 85, 84, he keeps it below 4 for the most part after that. Which is a neat trick to do in your late 30s to, figure that out that late in your career. But like this 77, 10.3 strikeouts per nine, 6.1 walks per nine. But he also led the majors in the fewest hits per nine, too. So, um, so I think I'm going to take this 87 season with Houston. All right, and then one more, Ryan Sandberg. I think of him as an '80s player, but I think his best season is I think it's 90 or 91. Also, in case you didn't know or had forgotten, don't forget this little cup of coffee with the Phillies in 1981. 13 games, 6 plate appearances. So in Star, in any season in OTP, they're based on their statistics from that season. And that's the reason I only use completed seasons because they're based on statistics. Whereas 2025 is based on predictions and projections. I don't want that. I want historic data and historic profiles. So their 2023 profile is based purely on their 2024 statistics. So yeah, this he pops off for 40 home runs, a career high 913 OPS, still hits 306 despite the boost in power. So, his MVP year was back in 84. Where he had 19 triples. 19 he's like a dead ball player. 19 triples, 19 home runs, 314 average, 887 OPS. Wins the MVP. But I like this 90 season. Now the glove might suffer a bit because he's getting a little long in the tooth here. The glove probably is going to be rated better in 84. but he still won a Gold Glove in 90. I don't know what the metrics are behind that though. Like back then, it was very reputational. Yeah, Star. They one of the reasons the Mets simmed pretty well in OTP 25 is because it was the 23 Mets, and Verlander and Scherzer wouldn't get hurt because I turn injuries off, and so the Mets would usually overperform in OTP 25 based on the settings that I use. So I'm going to take the 1990 Sandberg. Okay, so those are our 6 players. 85. Here, I'll put the roster file up. 85 Gooden, 41 Ted Williams, 54 Willie Mays, 2000 Pedro Martinez, 87 Nolan Ryan, and 1990 Brian Sandberg. Yeah, I just assumed that was a typo for Scherzer. I didn't realize that there's a Schwarzer who's a Middlesbrough goalkeeper, though. That's awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and set up the base game now. Should be fun. We're just going to use the create a roster quick start because all the settings are the same. I'm just going to call this episode. What episode am I on? 348. Actually, I should start doing this anyway. I should just do all of them episode numbers. We're adding 6 favorites to the Mets. All right. If you might have enough information to submit your pack giveaway form now. If you want to wait to see what these imports look like, you can keep waiting. I don't close the form usually until we're about to start the sim and look at the preseason predictions. All right, we're going to take over the Mets. I really should start taking over the Dodgers to get rid of Ohtani, but it's almost like the EVC in Create a Roster effect, where like I now want to chase down Ohtani and see if I can beat him for the MVP. All right, 2 things do not carry over when you do a quick start: the mailbox settings and the manager options. All right, and we're not deleting the Mets roster. You have to remember not to do that. The form is not linked. Oh, did it? Did it get unpinned? Oh, it did get unpinned. All right. Let me see if I can repin it. Yeah, it's still not letting me. So let me see if I alt can repin it. Okay, it should be repinned. Sorry about that. All right, let's see. Okay, that's all set. All right, so to the importing, we go to the manager pull down, GM and manager actions, sign a free agent. all creation and importing happens here on the free agency screen. If you're in commissioner mode, you'll have this actions pull down menu. And tonight we're going to import historical players. Historical underscore database. Up on top, you can import players one at a time. The major downside here is you can't include a destination. Oh, that reminds me. I have to rename ourselves after the destination. Right. In the roster file, I specify the destination as FTM for Franchise Time Machine. That's because if we ever want to import to a different team, I just have to change it here in the game, one place, instead of changing it in the roster file, however many places we have it. So now that's our destination. That matches our roster file. Now we go back to GM Manager Actions, sign a free agent. Import stock players. Yeah, so up here you can't specify a destination. Also, you can't do it 5 times. You have to do it 5 times, or this is just 1 time. Oh, you know what? I did not save this file. I did not give this file a name yet. I just called it 6 favorites. There it is right there. And then here's the new feature we get. Ratings calculation is base. 3 years is the default. We want 1 year. Fielding, we want 1 year. Imported season. Pitcher stamina, we want imported season. Now, fielding, a lot of times, depending on the type of game we're playing, I will use entire career. But for tonight, I just want the seasons they played. And then we'll figure it out on the roster. And same for pitchers. Like, especially if it's a pitcher who pitches as a starter and then as a reliever at different points in their career, you want it to be the imported season. All right, and this does some nerfing for small sample sizes. To make sure that doesn't happen, I take these way down. And then we're just going to hit import. We should get a pop-up that says it imported 5 players. So I made a mistake on my form somewhere. So let's see where that might be. Gooden Dwight 01. Williams Ted 01. Oh, Mays W. It's WI. So let me save that. And then we'll just try again. Now the downside is I put them onto our roster, so I'm going to have to delete them. The good thing is they're all going to be at the top because they're all studs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's just delete them. And then, now I could have just imported the Willie Mays again. I guess. Because our free agent, I could have used that option at the top. Here, I'll show you. I could have kept the other 5. Oops, we're not creating players tonight. And I could have just put Willie Mays up here. But, and because the free agency pool is empty, it would have been fine. If you have any free agents, it's kind of a bummer when they go into the pool because then you got to go find them. The downside of putting them directly into your roster, though, is if you want them to be your minor league, because a lot of times I'll bring players in as younger versions of themselves, put them in the minors, because I like watching them progress through the minors. If you use the abbreviation of the major league team, they're going to be on your 40-man roster, and that can screw up a bunch of things like service time. So then what I do is I find the abbreviation for the minor league affiliate, and then I'll use that abbreviation, or I'll change the minor league affiliates abbreviation to FTM. And then I have them go into like AA or AAA, and then assign them to the minors from there. That way they never hit the 40-man roster. Okay, so now if we go to the Mets roster, they should all be there. Yep, all 5 stars, all 5-star potential. So pitching staff first. Who are we going to cut to make room for these guys? Look at this: 85 stuff from Pedro, 85 stuff from Ryan, 80 stuff from Gooden. Pedro combines the 85 stuff with 70 PBABIP, which is insane, and 80 control. What a maniac! This is an insane profile. 85 stuff. Oh, sorry, 70 PBAP. I was looking at Mania. 70 PBAP, 80 control. Yeah, he'd give up home runs if you could hit him, right? 85 stamina as well. Ryan with the 70 stamina, Gooden with the 85 stamina. Because their stamina is relative to your era, right? Ryan threw tons of innings, but everyone threw tons of innings back then. So he gets a 70. Gooden threw tons of innings at a time where, like, people still threw a lot of innings, but he threw a ton even for that era. And same with Pedro. So it's relative. We're gonna move. Well, first let's see what the AI wants to do. I'm kind of curious to see what the AI would do. Pedro, Good, and Ryan, which makes sense to me. Mania Peterson. Yeah, that makes sense. I think that makes sense. And then who are we going to send down? If I look at these profiles, McGill looks pretty weak. I don't know why McGill's the setup, because his profile looks pretty weak to me. Oh, he probably gets a stuff boost for being a starter in the pen that we might not be seeing. Severino, too, gets a stuff boost. But, I mean, they have the weakest profiles, so. I mean, definitely McGill. He has the tied for the lowest HRA, second lowest PBABIP. So he's gone. Reed Garrett's interesting. 80 stuff, 20 PBABIP, 35 control. I usually let him hang around just to see what he can do. The two starters in the pen are interesting because they're kind of like they don't have the greatest profiles. They will get a stuff boost, but their stamina is really good, so they'd be ideal like middle relief, long relief guys. But maybe we don't need that with our studs in the rotation now. Oh, we are going to go always start highest rested. No offense to David Peterson, but I don't want you pitching that much with these 3 workhorses on the team. All right, Budo's definitely staying with the 95 PBABIP. I want to keep Garrett with the 80 stuff. Lopez maybe is expendable with the 45 home run suppression and 45 control. So that's 2. We have 1 more to cut. What would it do now with the bullpen? Doesn't change much. I mean, Danny Young, I don't want to cut because we don't have many lefties. He's great versus lefties, probably below average versus righties, but we only have 2 lefties. You know, the other thing we could do is we could bring Severino back in and then have Peterson as a lefty in the pen. But he's so much worse than Peterson. The other one, maybe it makes sense to cut is Ottavino. He's pretty splitty. His PBAP is not good. Yeah, let's cut Ottavino. Because I kind of want Quintana and Severino to be my long relievers. Although Quintana, I don't have any other lefties but him and Danny Young, so we may have to use him. I mean, I kind of want to use him as stoppers, but we do have Edwin Diaz as a closer. All right, let's use. He's so splitty, but maybe Danny Young is a setup. Backup specialists. Here's something that I would like to see changed in the future. In secondary role, you only get to choose specialist. In primary role, if you choose specialist, you get to choose VR or VL. You don't get that option in the secondary. In the secondary, it defaults to this is specialist VL. If you give a righty a specialist, my understanding this is still specialist VL. So that would be nice if this said if you got to choose which kind of specialist. All right, we're going to use Quintana and Severino as our middle relievers. Reed Garrett and Tonkin are in there right now. Tonkin. I feel like I can trust Tonkin a little bit more than Reed Garrett with that 20 PBAB and 35 control. But let's try Reed Garrett at setup and see how that works. Now, you know what? I don't care if Edwin Diaz doesn't get saves. If I were to set this up, I would go Quintana stopper, Severino stopper, starting in the 7th. Not caring if Diaz gets saves or not. These guys can still be my setup, man. The rest of these guys can be middle relief. I think this is what I would end up doing. But I don't know. I don't know that I trust them. They're not that good. All right, let's see. We got Budo in there, who I'm fine with. We've got Tonkin, who's fine, and then Nunez. Actually, Nunez could be my right-handed setup guy instead of Garrett. You know, let's do that. Let's go. These guys will all switch to long relief. We'll change our stoppers to middle relief. We'll go to a more traditional setup with lefty-right setup. These guys will back up as closers. And I guess these guys will back up as middle relief. Oh wait, it's not Tonkin that I wanted there. It's Nunez that I wanted there. There we go. And actually, Reed Garrett, I want to avoid high leverage, and all these guys will back up. And I think Budo is good enough that he's going to be secondary role setup. Okay. I kind of like that. We'll go with that. Martinez, Gooden, Ryan. Yeah, after I saw Pedro's profile, I can't argue with him being ahead of Gooden. All right, now on the batting side, let's see what the lineup looks like before we cut people. Okay, let's see. Willie Mays in center. Good. Ted Williams in left. Sandberg at second. Iglesias is the DH. Interesting. All right, so we need to make 3 cuts. I think the Sandberg, I don't think we need McNeil. He backs up in left and right field, but I think we have other backups there. Actually, what does our position coverage look like? Oh, man, it's pretty rough. We may actually need McNeil in left and... All right. No, we're okay. We're okay. We can cut McNeil. That's one cut. Or we could cut Beatty, too. There's 2 lefty bats here, Beatty and McNeil. And we have 4 guys who can play right field, including Marte. Okay, Marte is my first cut in right. Well, actually, that 65 contact might come in handy. What about JT Martinez? Well, he's got some power. Okay, I'm going to have to look at the batting ratings. Okay, McNeil. Pretty flat profile and also weak versus lefties. Beatty. Flat and negative. Man, he's really fallen off. He was going to be like one of the left-handed bats of the future, but I think that might be done. All right. I think we're going to cut Beatty. Yeah, he's third base only. I think we can cut him. Wait, can we cut him position-wise? Third base. If we cut Beatty, then we have to keep... Well, we're going to keep Vientos and Iglesias anyway, so that's fine. That's one cut. We probably have to cut either Nimmo or Taylor. And we're only down to 3 left-handed bats and a switch hitter now. The good thing is one of the lefties is Ted Williams and the switch hitter is Lindor. So maybe we don't need to keep Nimmo. I feel like Tyrone Taylor gives us position flexibility, but I think he's the next cut. And then it's either Martinez or Marte. Oh, one of them's going to have to start, actually. Because Bader can't play right. Okay, who do I want starting in right field? Marte or Martinez? Martinez gives us power and eye. Marte gives us contact. And that difference is there versus righties or lefties. They're both right-handed batters. Marte is the better right fielder. And maybe we don't need power from JD Martinez because we're getting it from Ted Williams, Willie Mays, Ryan Sandberg. Yeah. I think it's Martinez. Okay, now let's see. Holler says Bader can play right, he just doesn't know it yet. That's true. Okay, let's see what the AI wants to do now. All right, nothing changes. All bench player changes. Okay, do I want Iglesias hitting second at DH? Oh, he probably normally played second base before, yeah. And he's not going to start at third over Vientos. I'm thinking versus lefties. Yeah, I think Ted Williams still hits third versus lefties with Mays hitting cleanup. Lindor as the 5 hitter is pretty crazy, crazy good. Man, Alonso's profile is really nerfed in 24, huh? Vientos has a much better profile. I was like, what's he doing in the 7 spot? But I mean, he's way down in contact and power from his peak. Yeah, I think so. We better do our damage by the time we get to Vientos because it's not coming from the back end of the order. Let's see what the. Do we not have another shortstop on the roster? Yikes. I'm sure the AI will start putting Iglesias there, though. Did we send someone down who did? I don't think we did. Yeah, Iglesias is a 2-hole hitter who can't walk. All right, we sent down Brett Beatty. I don't think he plays shortstop. No, he doesn't. Tyrone Taylor plays outfield, not shortstop. And then who was our other? Oh, JD Martinez, who definitely doesn't play shortstop. Where's JD Martinez? Oh, did I delete Martinez by mistake instead of sending him down? Or did I send him to the free agency pool? I might have deleted him by mistake. Okay. That's fine, though. He wasn't going to come back up. I think part of it, too, though, is it's like, who else are you going to put in that spot? I mean, we could bump up everybody, but then I think I'm okay with that. And then we're going to go sabermetric, I think. Okay, so those are our pitchers, those are our batters. Yeah, I'll be curious to see who the AI decides to be. Now Star wants to see JD Martinez play shortstop. Well, last cycle you could have seen me put Barry Bonds at shortstop. I did a team where everyone was Barry Bonds. And that's where we learned that the game will not let you put left-handed throwers on the left side of the infield. I had to turn 4 Barry Bondses into right-handed throwers so that they could play shortstop, third, and second base. All right, so you should have enough information to do your pack giveaway forms. Let's see, how are we on time to the ad roll? No, Bonds didn't pitch. Instead, it was a league of all Barry Bondses, and the only pitchers in the league were all the year 2000 Jose Lima. And if you look up 2000 Jose Lima, he was terrible. Oh yeah, you know what? I forgot to look at the lineup. Star mentioned DHs versus righties. Would Nimmo be the better DH versus righties? I actually don't think so. Let's see. We would be giving up 35 contact to get 20 power and 40 eye. And eye has not been simming as good. But what we could do though is, I mean, I see what you're saying though. If you, it's close to the power's close enough that it's close to high enough that it might make up for the with the eye. It might make up for the contact. Holler says the joke's on me. I did my giveaway from a long time ago without understanding what we were doing. Yeah, I kind of. You know what I might do? I might have. We'll have Nimmo DH every other game with Iglesias. And there's no way Torrens is playing every other game versus. Well, is it just against righties? He's actually not that much worse than. I mean, his. Yeah, he's actually not that much worse than Alvarez. In my mind, Alvarez is much better, but if you look at the ratings, he's not that much better. But here's the thing, though. He is better versus righties. Well, yeah, so let's do this. I do want Alvarez starting versus righties, but we can alternate them versus lefties. That'll give him enough rest, I think. Yeah, I think Holler's right. Even though your fatigue doesn't go down if you're DHing, you also don't get rest if you're DHing. That's the other big thing. So your fatigue doesn't go down if you're DHing, but your sorry, you don't get more fatigue if you're DHing, but you don't get less fatigued. So giving him a day off versus righties would be good. So thanks for that suggestion, Holler. Okay, I think we're good to go. Is anyone else working on a pack giveaway form that they're about to submit? Here's what I can do. There's an ad coming in 22 minutes. I can either run ads again if anyone's still working on a form. That way we wouldn't be interrupted during the sim. Okay, Claydog, I'm gonna run 3 minutes ads so you can fill out your form, and that way our sim won't get interrupted by ads. I know I just ran ads like a little while ago, but this will be the easiest way to keep from getting interrupted. And anyone else who hasn't submitted a form yet, consider this your 3-minute warning. All right. I think we're back from ad rolls. You don't have to take full responsibility. I took your suggestion under advisement. I did think it made sense. I also wanted to make sure if the AI is going to sub Nemo for Iglesias, that it happened versus a righty. So I think the way it... first mistake, never trust the hauler. Alright. I think Claydog's not in yet. We'll wait for Claydog's submission to come in, and then I'll close the form. There we go. We got Claydog in. Form is now closed. Let's take a look at the guesses. All right. Will this have team be the worst in the majors? No. Worst in the NL? No. Last in its division? No. Record below 500? No. Will it make the playoffs? Everybody thinks so. Will it win the division? Everybody thinks so. Will it make the World Series? Everybody thinks so. 90% of you think that it will win the World Series. Everyone thinks we'll have a Cy Young winner. 50-50 on the MVP. Very interesting. Very interesting. Between that and the regular season game wins, we may have a first place determined in the Survivor Style section. We'll see how that goes. But now, with the form closed, we can... I'm going to say this is a quick start just in case. Okay. We're going to sim to opening day. Once you get to opening day, you can see the preseason predictions. Here it is, generating MLB season predictions. We'll go to MLB, reports and info, preseason predictions. All right. Normal run totals, 600 to 800, 900 runs. Typical ERAs in the 4s. You got the Tigers down at 3.94. You got the White Sox up at 5. We're predicted to win 128 games, 1,065 runs scored, and a 2.90 ERA. This is just by adding 6 players, 3 pitchers and 3 hitters. Let me screenshot this. And then our top players. It is predicting Ted Williams to be the top hitter ahead of Ohtani, followed by Mays, Yelich, and then Sandberg. And it does like our 3 added pitchers as the top 3 in the league. Predicting a 14.8 strikeouts per 9 from Nolan Ryan. Wow. 400 strikeouts predicted for Pedro. A 30-1 record for predicted for Pedro. That's right, Holler. Half of you forgot that Ohtani exists to win the MVP again. That's right. All right, let's make sure I have it always start highest rested. I do. All right, well, let's see what happens. Now, we do have to sim to our opening day because this is the year of the UK series. So we'll sim to March 28th, which is when we have opening day. This time the Padres sweep the Dodgers. Most of the times it's been a split. The Dodgers we've seen sweep twice, and now the Padres have swept once. Yeah, that's true, Clay Dog. If you added these 6 players to any team, they would probably. Maybe we should do one where we had these 6 players to every team. Or let's add these 6 players to the White Sox and see what they can do. All right, let's go to our opening day. Pedro Martinez against poor Tobias Myers. Oh, Clay Dog, we're playing your Brew Crew to open the season. All right, let's see what this team can do. All right, scoreless top of the first. Did give up 1 hit. Ryan Sandberg's already on second for Jose Iglesias. Line drive up the middle for a base hit. Not only does the run score, but they let Iglesias advance to second on the throw. So there's no force play for Lindor. 2 outs and an oh. Okay, we skipped Williams and Mays. That's kind of a bummer. I would have wanted to see them hit. All right, Lindor up now with 2 outs and an 0-2 count. Fly ball to left. That's going to bloop in. Runner should be going with 2 outs. Iglesias, best number 2 hitter possible, no notes. All right. Bottom of the third. No outs in a full count for Teddy Ballgame. Fly ball to the right field. That's a deep shot. Should be gone. And it is. Willie Mays. Can we go back? Oh, this is the bottom of the 7th now. Never mind. Fly ball to dead center field. He crushed that one. And that's gone. Top of the 9th, 2 outs, 0-2 count. Severino in the game. Get some swinging. Well, the Brewers did score 1 run. Martinez goes 6 innings. I wonder why they took him out so early. 6 innings, 1 earned. Do we have a slow hook? I mean, a fast hook, I mean? Oh, you know what? These starters, I'm cranking this hook up to slow. We have such studs in the rotation. Oh, wait. I didn't mean to exit the game. Oops. It should have saved that, though. Sorry about that. Yeah, okay. It kept our win. Thank goodness. All right. What I want to see, though, is I want to see Gooden's start. So let's just check the box score real quick. Let's see how Pedro did. He struck out 12 in 6 innings. Jeez. Severino also struck out 6 in 3 innings. 18 strikeouts by the Mets pitchers. Okay, hopefully that slower hook will keep Pedro from getting pulled after 6 innings next time. Okay, this next game should be a good end game. Unless we... Oh, we're not playing. Pedro Severino, same strikeouts for 9, just like we drew it up. All right, here's Gooden. All right, bottom of the second. Gooden did give up a hit in the top of the first. 1 out, 2-2 count to Willie Mays. Runners on first and second. Little blooper in the left. It's going to be in for the base hit, but the runners have to check up, so they might not score. Yeah, it's going to be bases loaded for Lindor. He goes down swinging, and that brings up Vientos with a 1-1 count. Fly ball to deep right center field, and that is out of here. Gone. Top of the second, runners on first and second for Joey Ortiz. 1 out, or 1 count. Fly ball to right. Oh, it's over his head. Marte with stellar defense in right field. Just kind of watched it go for a while. 4-1, Mets lead. Runner on first for Ted Williams. Fly ball to center field. That's gone. Center fielder doesn't even move. 418 feet. JT Martinez would have had it. All right, Willie Mays. 2 outs. Fly ball to left center field. That's going to be gone. Williams and Mays back to back. All the way to the top of the ninth. Gooden still in the game. 2 outs and a 2-1 count. Ground ball to short. Lindor gets it over to Sandberg for the out. Lindor Sandberg. I like that up the middle combination. All right. Gooden went the distance. 1 earned. 5 hits, 2 walks, 11 strikeouts. Ted Williams 2 for 5 with a home run. All right, let's finish March. The Braves finished 3-0, so we're a half game behind headed into May. Look at that. Cease, Sale, and Glasnow all had more strikeouts than Pedro because the AI pulled him after 6 innings. All right. That won't happen again, though, with our new settings. All right, Williams is hitting 387. We have pitcher of the month, Nolan Ryan. Nice. Batter of the month, Ted Williams. 7-game RBI streak by Willie Mays. 6 consecutive strikeouts by Ryan. And a 4-game home run streak by Sandberg. All right, let's check out those batter of the month stats. We have the mailbox settings shown up, set up so that we can see those here. Williams hit 392 with 11 home runs, 31 RBI, and 32 runs scored. And then in April, Nolan Ryan, 6-0. 72 strikeouts in 43 and a third innings. Okay. Okay. 72 divided by 43.333. And then times 9. 15 strikeouts per 9. 14, yeah, it rounds up to 15 strikeouts per 9. Amazing. Amazing. All right. Next month. "12-game winning streak, 36-game on-base streak by Ted Williams. Willie Mays wins Player of the Week. Okay, now that we've won the award once, we won't get notifications, but Otani wins batter of the month, so we won't get one of those. Mets win a Met one. Okay, Pedro won May pitcher of the month. 6-0, 1.85 ERA, 43 and 2/3 innings, 69, very nice strikeout total, and opponent batting average of 210. All right, 45 and 13. No one else has 40 wins. The highest win total actually is 36 by the Brewers. The Brewers are outperforming the Dodgers this sim. Wow. We didn't even take anything away from the Dodgers this sim. Let's see. Ted Williams is hitting 391. Sandberg and Mays second and third in home runs. Mays and Williams second and third in RBI. Of course, both of those categories are trailing Shohei. Mays and Williams first, second and third in slugging and batter war. Ryan and Gooden first and third in ERA. Pedro and Gooden first and second in wins. Martinez, Ryan, and Gooden top 3 in strikeouts. Yeah, Contreras is hitting 395 and Otani's hitting 396. And this is 2 months in, so. All right, let's do another month. Oh, yeah, the annoying owner, even though we have the owner box unchecked, we should not be getting owner goals. We have the owner goals box unchecked, but we still keep getting bothered. All right, 9-game quality start streak by Pedro. 63 and 19. The next highest win total is the Dodgers with 51. Williams is now leading the majors in batting average with a 394 average. Mays is third. Sandberg now leading the league in home runs. Holy cow. This is a 40 home run Sandberg profile, but crushing it in 2024. Sandberg and Mays have passed Otani for RBI. Ryan and Pedro first and third in ERA. Pedro and Ryan first and second in wins. Pedro, Ryan, and Gooden in that order leading in strikeouts. All right, let's sim to the All-Star break. Ryan gets career strikeout 4,500. All right, let's see if we forgot to check for player of the month in June. Pitcher and batter of the month in June. Sandberg won batter of the month in June. He had 387 with 15 home runs, 39 RBI in 1 month. He's already at 100 RBI and it's the All-Star break. Wow, the top pitcher for June was actually Ryan Helsley of the Cardinals. In 12, this is amazing. In 12 relief appearances, he went 1-0 with 11 saves, 12 strikeouts, and a 1.54 ERA. Wow. That's pretty good. Gotta say, that's pretty good. Okay. We should be 1 day away from the All-Star break. 76 and 20. We're in the midst of a 9-game winning streak. We're at 76 wins. The closest second win total is the Dodgers with 61. So we're 15 wins ahead of the next team. Williams and Mays first and third in batting average. Sandberg still leading in home runs with Mays third. Sandberg and Mays first and second in RBI. Where's Ted Williams in RBI? Ted Williams has 87 RBI. Mays and Williams first and second in slugging, first and third in WAR. Ryan and Pedro first and second in ERA. Nolan Ryan is crushing it. 1.79 ERA. Pedro and Ryan leading in wins. Pedro, Ryan, and Gooden first top 3 in strikeouts. And also top 3 in pitcher WAR. All right, let's check out the All-Star voting. Now, you see how dominant the pitchers are. I bet they're not top 5 in pitcher voting, though. Contreras leading the voting at catcher. What's he hitting now? He's down to 356. Down to, I say with air quotes. Sandberg leading the votes at second base with 5.7 million. Ohtani with 7.5 million votes, just destroying the field. Vientos third in votes at third base. Left field, Ted Williams, 6 million votes. Willie Mays, 5.9 million votes. And then Ohtani and right, 8.5 million votes. Okay, you'll notice none of our starters got top 5 votes. Zach Wheeler was 7 and 9 and led in votes. Okay, I'm screenshotting this because this continues to be a problem. Logan Webb, 9 and 5. Now, Logan Webb, a little better, 9 and 5. The ERA is a bit high, 3.59. Gray's 10 and 6 with a 4.23. Gallen's 9 and 4 with a 5.50 ERA. Steele 6 and 5. At least his ERA is a 2.82. Now, let's see who didn't get top 5 votes. None of these pitchers got top 5 votes. 11 and 2 with a 3.13 ERA. And 206 strikeouts at the break. Pedro Martinez, 16 and 3 with a 2.39 and 252 strikeouts at the All-Star break. Did not get top 5 votes. Nolan Ryan, 13 and 1 with 223 strikeouts, a 1.79 ERA, 0.89 whip. Did not get top 5 All-Star votes. Yes, this happened in OOTP25 as well. Yeah. Imported and created players do not get... usually do not get all-star votes for starting pitching and relief pitching for that matter. All right, well, let's see who got selected. The AI usually gets this right, though. I have the importance of popularity turned off, Star, so it's supposed to be just based on performance. So it shouldn't matter if it's the second year or the first year. But they get the selections right. Gooden. And also the position players are in the same boat and they get voted in. So it's just the pitchers. So Gooden got selected, Pedro got selected, and Nolan Ryan got selected. So the AI gets it right eventually. Sandberg is voted in. Williams is voted in and Mays is voted in. See, like our 3 hitters got voted in, no problem. Does that mean we got no other Mets got into the All-Star game? Just the ones we imported? I think that's right. There are no other Mets. No, David Bednar, let's see. David Bednar, 8 ERA. Let's see. Yes. 1 and 6, 13 saves, 8 ERA, 1.72 whip. Negative 0.7 WAR. Is he the only Pirate? Yeah, he's the only Pirate, so they chose him as their lone representative. Oh, man. That's awesome. That is great. Good catch there, Holler. All right, let's go to the home run challenge. We should have a few contestants in here. There's Ryan Sandberg, there's Willie Mays, there's Ted Williams. Sandberg advances. Willie Mays gets knocked out by Yordan Alvarez. Ted Williams beats Santander. And Kyle Tucker. Oh, Kyle Tucker defeats Ohtani. Maybe we'll have a chance at this. Sandberg, Tucker beats Ted Williams. It's Sandberg versus Tucker. Kyle Tucker. I'll tell you what I'm thinking. It sounds like Mother Tucker. I mean, Sandberg's kind of playing out of his mind anyway, but it is interesting how his profile has translated. Because we're talking about a guy here. Let's look at the stats. All right, Sandberg, he's at 43 home runs at the All-Star break. In real life, remember, this is a 40 home run profile we imported. He hit 40 in 1990. Now, part of that might be, there are probably more home runs in today's era than there were in 1990. Other than 87, most of those years are lower home run years, so that's part of it. But to have 48 at the All-Star break, that's amazing. All right, let's go to the All-Star game itself. We lost. The NL lost to the AL. That's a pretty crazy win probability graph. Let's see. Sandberg went 1 for 3 with a run scored. Ted Williams went 0 for 1 with a walk, was pinch hit for by Schwarber, and then replaced by Yelich. Willie Mays. Okay, they gave Mays. I guess they gave him 2 player appearances because they each went 0 for 1 with a walk. Let's see if our pitchers got in, and let's see what Bednar did. Bednar pitched 1 clean inning with a strikeout. Martinez, 1 clean inning with 3 strikeouts, struck out the side on 14 pitches. Gooden gave up a walk and struck out 2. So who blew the game? Brandon Pfaadt with a, what did he do? He went 1 1/3. So did it happen in the 9th? Oh wait, so did he give up the tying run and then? Oh no, Suarez gave up. Wait, how does this work? Okay, let me go to the game log. Let me see what that looks like. Okay, top of the 9th was clean. Bottom of the 9th, NL scores 2 to tie it. Top of the 9th, solo bomb. And then puck comes in. Okay, so that's what it was, solo bomb. Was it to Judge? Yeah, to Aaron Judge. Okay. And they left the right. He's righty, right? They left him in for the righty-righty matchup. Although it really doesn't make sense. They bring in the lefty to face a switch hitter and 2 righties, but by then it was already done. All right, let's go to the standings. All right, let's finish the month of July. Uh, 7-3 in the last 10. That's a little underperforming this team actually, with a 789 win percentage. Sandberg still maintaining a home run lead, although Ohtani's catching back up. Ohtani's tied with Mays now for second place. Ryan's ERA has floated back up, so Martinez now has the ERA lead, the win lead, and the strikeout lead. So Pedro Martinez poised for a pitching triple crown here. Now, Williams is leading in average. How far is he from a triple crown chance? He's only got 37 bombs, so he's 10 behind Sandberg. And 97 RBI, so he's 21 RBI behind Mays. Now, why is that happening? Williams is hitting 3rd. Well, that's interesting. Okay. All right, let's sim the month of August. Sandberg still hitting bombs. Mays now in the top 3, or Williams now in the top 3 for home runs. Oh, Ohtani just caught Williams. So Williams is now potentially in Triple Crown range. Because Williams is leading the league in average. He's got 6 home runs behind Sandberg. And he's now, wow, he's still 23 RBI behind Sandberg. Let's see. Ryan, 2.25, is retaking the ERA lead over Pedro. Pedro still has the win lead. Pedro's already up to 346 strikeouts. Diaz is now second in saves. Stearns is working his pitcher magic on the young up and coming Pedro Martinez. Wait, how old is this Pedro? He's 28. He's not that young. Gooden is still 20. Gooden's up and coming. All right, let's see. We're already at 100 wins on September 1st. What else did I want to check? I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to check. I don't think so. Let's sim to the end of the regular season. Ooh, a little bit of a winning streak here at the end. Nice. Oh, yeah, I was going to look for players of the month. 9 consecutive hits by Williams. That's not 9 games. That's 9 consecutive at-bats with hits. 8 consecutive strikeouts by Ryan. All right, let's check Batter of the Month awards for July and August. So July, Hoskins won it for July. Rhys Hoskins. Brew Crew Clay Dog. Rhys Hoskins won Batter of the Month in July. He hit 400 in July with 9 home runs, 26 RBI. Pedro did get Pitcher of the Month in July. He went 4-0 in 6 starts with a .43 ERA. 74 strikeouts in 41 and 2/3 innings. Okay, I got to do the math again. 74 divided by 41.667 times 9. 16 strikeouts per 9 in July for Pedro. Insane. Okay, what about August? Williams, batter of the month for August, hit 366 with 11 home runs, 24 RBI. And Glasnow won pitcher of the month for August. Yeah, I know, right? That's like Bob Gibson-esque. 4 wins in 6 starts with a .43 ERA. Yeah, that's a little ridiculous. Okay, let's we have one more game to go. Pitching Triple Crown for Pedro Martinez. There we go. Mays overtook Sandberg in the last month. Holy cow. Sandberg was so far ahead for most of the season. That's craziness. Wow. Look at Iglesias hit 357, Holler. 357. If not for Ted Williams, Iglesias would have led the majors. He would have led the majors. Yeah, not only did Robles steal 100, so far, every sim, Ohtani's stolen at least 80. Ohtani, again, stole 81. I think he's been 50-80 every time I've simmed this season. Xavier Edwards is 95. Terang with 90 might be more shocking than Robles with 101. Holler says, I told you not to listen to me. Okay, we got to see now. How did Nimmo do? Nimmo hit 228. Iglesias was fueled by the fact that every other day versus righties, Nimmo was still going out there. Wow. 357 average from Iglesias. Ted Williams hit 389. 1255 OPS. Jeez. Mays hit 343 with 61 bombs. Sandberg with 60 home runs, man. All right, let's go back to the standings. So the fact that we got our achievement means we don't have any game 163s to play. Right, I think that means that. I believe that means that. So unlike who was it? Was it Star who had to play a game 163 in perfect team? We don't have. There are no 163s in this sim tonight. All right, let's go check out the playoff tree. We'll use the tree for the wild card round. Padres win 2 games to 1 over the Braves to face our team. The Brewers win the wild card round to face the Dodgers in the NLDS. Congrats, Clay Dog. Twins sweep the Athletics to face the Mariners, and the Red Sox beat the Guardians to face the Royals. Before we lose this, let me go ahead and save. And we will now go to scores mode for the playoffs. Okay, the Royals beat the Red Sox 6-3 to take a 1-0 series lead. And the Mariners do the same, beating the Twins 3-1. Okay, the NL is going to start action while the AL plays game 2. Kansas City takes a 2-0 series lead, winning 12-5. The Twins, though, shut out the Mariners, win a 2-0 pitching duel, 7 total hits between the two teams to tie that series at 1. The Dodgers beat the Brewers 4-2, with Ohtani and Betts hitting home runs. And the Mets win 11-2 with Pedro Martinez. Wow, he was not even in one of the top 3 performances of the day. Willie Mays, though, went 3-for-4 with a double and 2 home runs. 5 RBI and 3 runs scored. What a stud. Also hitting home runs, Lindor, Ted Williams, Ryan Sandberg. AL's going to be on a travel day. NL plays game 2. The Brewers fight back, winning 7-3, tying that series at 1. And the Mets are going to Met. They lose 7-4. The sole Mets home run hit by Brandon Nimmo. As Diaz gets the loss and takes on an 81 ERA. We gave up 6 runs in the top of the 9th. What the heck happened there? Look at this win probability graph. Jeez. You know what? That's partly my fault. I forgot to go to a 4-man rotation. All right, we're going to add... we'll put Peterson as a stopper. And setup guy. You know, maybe if he'd been in there, we would have had a chance, but let's see what happened here. This meltdown. Gooden pitched 7 1/3 of 1-run ball, 10 strikeouts. Young pitched 2/3 of an inning with just 1 walk.
Diaz pitched 2/3 and gave up 6 earned runs. All right, I got to see this game log. What did you do, Edwin? What did you do? All right, Diaz comes in for Young. McNeil comes in to play first. Cronenworth strikes out. Higashioka singles. Bogarts walks. Tyler Wade singles, loading the bases. Tatis singles, driving in a run. Profar doubles, driving in 2. Merrill's intentionally walked. And then Machado walks with the bases loaded. Solano strikes out, and then Quintana's finally brought in. But these runs are charged to Diaz. Single. Fly out. Why did Young get a blown save? Did he get a blown save? I don't think he should have. Diaz got the blown save. Oh, wait. How do we have 2 blown saves? Oh, did we blow a save and then come back to tie it? And then, yeah, so I think that's what happened. He blew the save, and then we took the lead. Oh, yeah, no. He blew the save by giving up the run, and then we took the lead, and then Diaz blew the save. I'm telling you, the Mets are always going to Met. We found a way to blow 2 saves in one playoff game. Even with these additions, the Mets are still going to Met. God. Double blown save game. Amazing. Just leave it to the Mets. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, man. All right. NL's on the travel day. Red Sox win 7-5, taking a 2-1 series lead. And the Mariners win 3-2, taking a 2-1 series lead. All right, potential closeout games in the AL. Kansas City hoping to end the Red Sox season. Red Sox win 7-6, though, to force a Game 5. Seattle trying to close the door on the Twins. And they do, winning 4-2. They'll be advancing to the ALCS. The Brewers win 5-2, taking a 2-1 series lead on the verge of an LCS appearance. Ooh, the Mets win a close one, 5-4. 4 in the top of the 6th to make up for a 4-run deficit in the first. Ryan got rocked in the first. Let's see what happened there. All right, bottom of the first. Ryan gives up a single, another single, then a walk, strikeout, another single, a double, a fly out, and a fly out. Wow. So he gets the win, but it was not pretty for Ryan. Took a big comeback by the Mets to do it. He struck out 8 and 6 in the third, but he also gave up 6 hits, 2 walks, and 4 earned. That still counts as a quality start, though. More than 6 innings and 4 or fewer earned runs. Peterson, who we moved to the bullpen, gets a 2 2/3 inning save. All right, next up, AL's on a travel day. We have our Game 4s in the NL. Can the Brewers end the Dodgers season? The Dodgers sim very well in OOTP26. But the Brewers do it. It's 8-6, knocking out the Dodgers. That makes the Mets' path easier if the Mets can put away the Padres. And they do, winning 3-1. Sandberg goes yard, and the Mets advance to the NLCS to face the Brewers. All right, series deciding Game 5 between the Red Sox and the Royals. The Red Sox win 8-4, advancing to the ALCS. All right. ALCS starts off in Seattle. Seattle wins 7-2 at home. Home runs by Rayleigh and Moore. I mean, you know, OTP is pretty good, but a little unrealistic. Mariners scoring 7 runs at home. All right. Let's see. Game 2 for the AL and NL kicks off. Red Sox tie the series 7-1 by winning 7-1. This is more like it. Mariners scoring 1 run at home. That's more realistic. And then Pedro Martinez on the mound for game 1 in Flushing. And they win 6-1. Pedro goes 6 1/3, 3 hits, 1 walk, 1 earned, 6 strikeouts. Home runs by Ted Williams, Willie Mays, and Ryan Sandberg, who continues the hot hitting from the regular season. All right, AL's on the travel day, so the focus is on the NL as Dwight Gooden faces Freddie Peralta. Oh my goodness. The Brewers score 5 in the top of the 9th. Did we do a double blown save again? Look at this win probability graph. Look at this. Look at this. Observe. Like 99% to a loss. Gooden wastes another good outing. 7 1/3, 2 earned, 5 hits, 13 strikeouts. Severino comes in for 2/3, gives up 3 earned runs. Edwin Diaz goes 1 inning, 3 hits, 2 walks, 3 earned. He struck out the side though. He got 3 strikeouts. Unbelievable. He has been awful this postseason. Yikes. Yeah, petition to turn injuries back on for Diaz, no doubt. Unbelievable. What a waste of a good start by Gooden. All right, series tied at 1 in the AL. Mariners win 3-2, taking a 2-1 series lead. NL's tied up at 1, but first we have Game 4 from the AL. Mariners win 11-0, a 1-hit shutout of the Red Sox. 1-hit shutout. Bryce Miller goes the distance. 1 hit away from a perfect game. No walks, no errors. 10 strikeouts. Bryce Miller. All right, I got to see who got the 1 hit. Ref Snyder got the 1 hit. Wow. Are you kidding me? A 14-13 loss. Who started this game and when did Endo Diaz come in? It's a Nolan Ryan start. 2 2/3, 6 earned. 8 hits. Only 4 strikeouts. All right, everyone got shelled. Peterson came in for 1 2/3, gave up 3 earned. Nunez came in for 1 inning, gave up 2. Tonkin came in for 1 1/3, gave up an earned run. Quintana came in for 1 1/3, gave up 2. Jeez. What is happening? I mean, I know what's happening. The Mets are going to Met every time. Every time. Iglesias goes 0 for 5. Where are you in the postseason, Iglesias? Man. Whew. That's a rough one. At least it's a best of 7. We have time to come back. All right, Seattle leading 3-1. They could potentially close out the Red Sox and have a lot of rest going into the World Series. And they do. They win 6-4. They're done. They're resting. They're resetting their rotation as the NL advances to Game 4. Like the Mets win 7-4. Still giving up a lot of runs. Manaea was on the mound for that one. 7 innings, 4 earned. The quality start with 7 strikeouts. Home runs by Vientos, Ted Williams, and Iglesias right on cue. Right after I criticized him. All right. Okay, well, Manaea gave up those 4 runs. All right.
No Edwin Diaz involvement. All right, game 5. This is a huge game 5. Oh, a one-hit shutout by Pedro. 16 strikeouts, no walks. The Mets committed an error, so we were an error and a hit away from a perfect game. But man, what a performance. Willie Mays hits 3 home runs. 4 for 5, 3 home runs. Sandberg goes 3 for 5 with a bomb. Wow. So when the Mets really need a win, Gooden and Mays really come through. By the way, Mets legend Willie Mays played for the Mets his last season in the majors. That's right. Mets legend Willie Mays. All right, now we've got a bit of a cushion with a 3-2 series lead heading into a travel day. And headed home. In Flushing, Dwight Gooden on the mound. And we win it. 6-2. Gooden goes 6 innings, no earned, 1 hit, 4 walks, 10 strikeouts. Ted Williams 3 for 3 with a home run and a double. Willie Mays 2 for 4 with a home run and 2 RBI. Sandberg with another home run. Saved by Peterson, not Edwin Diaz. Yeah, you're right. Peterson has 4 saves this postseason. What I gotta see Diaz's postseason stats here. 13.5 ERA. 2 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. So he has 2 innings and 6 strikeouts, but a 13.5 ERA. He struck out. Every out he got was by strikeout. It's all or nothing for Edwin Diaz. Amazing stat line. Amazing stat line. No home runs, 2 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. I might have to screenshot this. That's such a funny stat line. Oh, man. All right. All right. At least we should get a day off here. We just used Gooden, too. So Nolan Ryan's on the mound with a 1-0 record, but a 10 postseason ERA. Now, so I grew up a Mets fan. When I moved to the Pacific Northwest, I was going to Mariners games. I always liked Ken Griffey Jr. as a kid. And I thought, okay, I'm going to adopt the Mariners as my AL team. And the Mariners were terrible. I was like, what? And the Mets were terrible. What are the odds that the Mariners and Mets will ever meet in the World Series? I can safely be a fan of both teams, no problem. And here we are, Mets Mariners in the World Series. And we lose. The Mets are going to Met every single time. The Mets are going to Met. 6-3 loss. Ryan's ERA increases to 10.05. Oh, man. We were so bad. The Mets were so bad. Nolan Ryan was the number 3 performance of the day. All right. No one else could top his terrible outing. Oh, okay. Let's get away from this game. All right. Pedro back on the mound. 3-0 with a 1.25 postseason ERA. 10-0 win. Pedro, 7 shutout innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 16 strikeouts. And somehow the bullpen did not blow it. Tonkin, of all people, Tonkin threw 2 clean innings, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts. Take that, Diaz. How much is Tonkin making? Tonkin is making $2.4 million. How much is Diaz making? Diaz is making, 7.7 million. Is that right? Is that it? Is that right? Doesn't seem right, is it? Huh. All right. I thought it'd be way more than that, but okay. All right. Travel day. Good time for a travel day. Time to reset. And we're headed on the road. It's Manaya versus Brian Wu. Where's the Wu emote? One of my favorite uses of EVC's Wu emote is when Brian Wu is pitching. All right. We got to get through these back end of the rotation games. So we do win with Manaya on the mound. Peterson got the win, though, out of the bullpen. So Peterson has 4 saves and a win, while Edwin Diaz has sucked it. Manaya goes 6 shutout innings. He gave up all 4 hits, so the bullpen came in and was effective. 3 in the top of the 9th. Willie Mays with a 2-run bomb. Peterson came in and pitched 3 clean innings, just 1 hit and 3 strikeouts in 3 innings. Give this man a raise. Give him Diaz's money. Well, he already is getting Diaz money, I guess. All right. Well, because he's a starter. He's making starter money, I guess. All right. Mets leading 2-1 as the ball goes back to Gooden. 1-0 with a 1.31 postseason ERA. But facing Bryce Miller, who's 2-0 with a 1 postseason ERA. But the Mets win 4-1. Gooden goes 8 innings, 1 earned, 4 hits, and 2 walks with 10 strikeouts. Ted Williams gets 2 for 4 with 2 bombs. Diaz got the save, lowering his ERA to 14.29. The 1 clean inning lowered his ERA to 14.29. 1 strikeout, 13 innings, 13 pitches. All right, up 3-1. This is a possible elimination game. Nolan Ryan on the mound. Holler says only struck out 1 of the 3 batters. Bum. Okay, now we learned this trick from Smiley Face Jane. We're going to turn off the achievements notification. So if we win the World Series, it doesn't give us a spoiler. And then we turn off scores. And we're going to watch this possible World Series clinching game with Nolan Ryan on the mound. All right, we are scoreless and hitless after 2, and Seattle is up. Runners on first and second for Mitch Haniger. 1 out, 1-2 count. Fly ball to center. Over the center field's head. Willie Mays could not get to it, so you know it was hit hard. And that's a base clearing double. Top of the 3rd, down by 2. Runner on first for Ryan Sandberg. Hit 60 home runs this season. Fly ball to right center field. That's extra bases. Could we have a triple? Sandberg headed to 3rd. It counts as a double, advancing on the throw. That was the end of the damage, though, as we're up on the top of the 4th. Williams on second for Vientos. Walks him. That brings up Alonso, full count with 2 outs. Ground ball past the 3rd baseman. Oh, and the left fielder makes an error as he, flicks the ball behind himself? That's one of my favorite animations, that dropping the ball behind you error that happens so often in baseball. All right, Sterling Marte up with 2 outs and a 1-2 count. Goes down looking. Of course he does. Top of the 5th, we've got Alvarez up, and then the oh wait, where is Willie Mays? Willie Mays is not playing today. Harrison Bader starting in center field. Line drive into left into the corner. That should be extra bases. Alvarez with a leadoff double. That brings up Ryan Sandberg in an RBI situation. 2-2 count with no outs. A little blooper past the shortstop. Runner had to hold up, though, so I don't think he'll be able to score. It'll be first and third with no outs for everyone's favorite DH, Jose Iglesias. He was second in the league in batting, and he goes down looking. I jinxed him with that. Ted Williams, 1 out, 1-0 count. Throw this. Why are we running out of an inning here, people? Oh my goodness. We're on sabermetric. Come on. And in Willie Mays' spot, Harrison Bader. This is quite a downgrade. Oh! He said downgrade this, coach, and goes yard. Harrison Bader. I jinxed us into that. I'm happy to say that I jinxed us into that. Bader with a big 3-run shot. Bottom of the 7th, runner on first. Dylan Moore up with a 1-2 count. Goes down looking. That's a big first out. Top of the 8th. 2 outs, full count to Pete Alonso. Line drive into center field. That drops in for a base hit. 2-out single. But no more damage is done as the Mariners come up in the bottom of the 8th. Cal Raleigh leading off with a full count. Peterson in the game now. Draws the walk. Ty France. Goes down swinging. That's a big out. That's a double play. Gets out of the inning. Oh, and we're done. Top of the 9th. 2 outs. Iglesias up for the Mets. Oh my goodness. He hammers it to left field. And he's glaring at the holler as he rounds the bases. All right, bottom of the 9th. This is for the World Series. Runner on first. 2 outs. Ground ball to second. Sandberg fields it cleanly over to first. And the Mets win the World Series. Nice. It was tight there early on, but they just kept scoring. Harrison Bader with a big 3-run shot in the 5th. Right after I said he was a big downgrade from Willie Mays. Well played, Harrison Bader. Well played. Well played. He's a master at that, you know. All right, let's get the trophy out here. There we go. All right, let's save this, and then we'll do the postseason awards, and then we can do the pack giveaway. All right, let's see. First up, Gold Gloves. Let's see. Did we get any? We did not. Willie Mays didn't get one, huh? Michael A. Taylor in center field instead. Wow. What was Willie Mays' fielding rating, by the way? Our imported Willie Mays. A 70 in center field, and he didn't win it. Okay, what were his fielding stats? An 18.3 zone rating, 2.4 range. Okay, he did have a negative 1.2 arm, but still. Okay, okay, I gotta see what beat that. Come on, what beat that? Show me what Michael A. Taylor had. I mean, did the arm make the difference? Because he had a lower zone rating. I think the efficiency was similar. I think he had a much better arm, though. Wow. That's crazy. No, but his arm statistics for the season, not the rating, because the Gold Glove's based on the fielding statistics, right? So he had a negative 1.2 arm statistic. Now, part of that's probably like people weren't running on him because his arm is so good, but still feels like a bit of a snub there. All right, reliever of the year. I don't think we're in the running for this. Now, granted, it's based on regular season performance, and even then, his ERA was at 3.58. So Diaz had lots of saves, but I don't think he's getting the 9 innings at shortstop hurt him. I did wonder who was going to play short when Lindor needed a rest, and it was Willie Mays. All right, good catch there, Holler. I didn't even notice that. All right, reliever of the year. I don't even know if Diaz is going to get any votes, even though he had 39 saves, because that ERA is pretty bad. Yeah, he didn't get any votes. Ashby wins it. Six. You know what? I kind of like this. The AI's been giving more votes to setup guys instead of just all closers. And this year, a setup guy wins it. 6-1, 7 saves, 1.21 ERA. How many games did he throw? 69. Very nice relief appearance total. 82 strikeouts, 6-1 record to go with the 1.21 ERA. And I'm assuming he had a bunch of holds too. We don't get to see his hold. Where's his hold stat? I guess they don't have it in this view. If we go to the Brewers team view, only 18 holds, but really good season. 2.1 WAR as a relief pitcher who's not a closer. That's pretty good. All right, next up, Platinum Stick Awards. I mean, are we going to win 3? We imported 3 hitters. Sandberg, that's 1. Ted Williams, that's 2. Willie Mays, that's 3. The only Silver Slugger Awards we won are the ones that our imported players won. Nice. Sandberg, man, 304, 60 bombs, 14 stolen bases, 147 runs, 146 RBI. Ted Williams, 389, 57 bombs, 173 runs scored, 154 RBI. And Willie Mays, 343, 61 bombs, 5 stolen bases, 131 scored, 183 RBI. Yeah, Tyler Fitzgerald at shortstop hit 318 with 33 bombs, 41 stolen bases, 30-30 guy, 9.2 WAR. In real life, he hit 280 with an 831 OPS. In limited action, he only had 341 plate appearances. All right, next up, Rookie of the Year. We don't have anyone eligible, I don't think. Jackson Merrill takes it, sweeping the first place votes. All right. Next up is the Cy Young Award. We've got a lot of candidates for this. You got to think it's Pedro with his 417 strikeouts, though. 26-4, 2.29 ERA, 417 strikeouts. Now, Ryan has a claim at it, too. 23-2, 379 strikeouts, 2.30 ERA. But Martinez had the better whip, the better WAR.
more wins, even though win percentage was a little worse. Almost 40 more strikeouts, 38 more strikeouts. So I'm assuming it's going to be Pedro. Yeah, it's unanimous. Pedro sweeps. Ryan comes in second. Gooden comes in third. But our three imported players did finish um, first, second, and third. All right, here's the big one, MVP. Do we have anyone who can give Shohei a run for his money? I don't think so, because Williams has this many home runs, but Shohei had 80 more stolen bases. Now, Williams did beat him for the batting title, but I don't know that that's going to be enough. Willie Mays hit 61, hit 343, but again, only 5 stolen bases. The AI loves stolen bases. Sandberg hit 60 with a 304 average, but only stole 14. Check out Sterling Marte. In his 36-year-old season, stole 46 bases. Wow. All right, let's see what happens. I think Shohei's going to win it again. Yep, Ohtani. It's not unanimous, so Ted Williams gets 10 first place votes. This is, I think, the closest we've come. 320 points versus 370, taking 10 first place votes. Our added batters finished second, third, and fourth in the voting, all trailing Ohtani. Man, Ohtani is a beast. What was his WAR? 11.1. We had higher WAR, but we just couldn't take him down. It's the stolen bases. The AI loves those stolen bases. All right. I think we have enough information now to do the pack giveaway. Let me set up the spreadsheet real quick and resize things a little bit. Gotta hide a couple columns. Takes a second to do that. All right, here we go. Good luck, everybody. All right. Will this team finish last in the majors? Nope. Last in the league, sub-league? Nope. Last in the division? Nope. Will it finish under 500? Nope. Will it win its division? Or no, this is will it make the playoffs? Will it make the playoffs? Yes, we did. Will it win its division? Yes, we did. Will it make it to the World Series? Yes, we did. Will it win the World Series? Yes, we did. Only one naysayer there. Will it win the Cy Young? Yes, we did. Will it win the MVP? No, we did not. Shohei won it again. That leaves us with Corsible Germ. Welcome back after not seeing you in the pack giveaway for a while. Psycho Ducko, Reb Jr., and Claydog. So we do need the win total to try to break this tie. So let me resize these columns a little bit. The win total was 127. 127. Psycho Ducko 2 away. Claydog 2 away. That means there is no first place winner. So everyone's back in
for the tiebreak. Everyone can win first place. Everyone can still win second place. Man, Clay Dog in his triumphant return from being away for finals almost won it. But now it's a free for all. Anyone can win it now. Yeah, you guys kind of robbed each other, I guess. Okay, how many games behind? Everyone guessed correctly that they would win the division, so everyone gets a point there. All right, now these mouse hover questions. I did notice earlier we did not finish first in everything. First in everything except defensive efficiency. Seventh there. So, first. All right, almost everyone got a point there. Next up is batting average. It's amazing how 3 batters can make this much difference. Home runs hit first. And again, 3 pitchers. Now, 3 pitchers can do more because especially in their rotation, that's 60% of your starters, and probably a higher percentage of your starts because of always starting highest rested. Yeah, I mean, yes, 3 of the best batters of all time, true, and their best seasons. But although I don't know, I don't think many people consider Sandberg one of the best hitters of all time. I mean, definitely one of the best second basemen of all time. But but still, I get your point, Clay Dog. True. Okay, ERA first. Strikeouts thrown first. Now this is where it gets interesting. Seventh. Kitty Poo Poo gets the only point for this one. All right, home runs hit by our home run leader. That was 61 hit by Willie Mays. The Holler gets that exactly right. The only point scored there. Psycho Ducko was close with 62. No one went with the meme guess of 69. All right, now we go to highest and lowest batting average. Minimum 300 plate appearances. The lowest, Bader, not enough. McNeil, not enough. Nimmo, 228. Nimmo, 228. Star with a 230 guess. That's my voice, says Holler. I think Star takes it. 230. All right, now the highest batting average with 300 players is Ted Williams with a 389. No one guessed that high. Oh, Psycho Ducko went 412. Is that going to be the closest? 412 is 23 points away. Oh, no. There's a 370 in here. I almost missed the 370. Yeah, Star beat Late to Hate by 1 batting average point. Um, so the 370, Star again is closest here. Only 19 points away. Psycho Ducko came close on the high end, but it was just a little too high. All right, I think Star just took the lead here. Star with 8. Clay Dog with 6. Kitty Poop with 4. T. Davis with 6. Leopard with 6. Holler with 7. Psycho Ducko with 6. So 8 and 7 still in the running. Several people with 6. Psycho Ducko, Leopard, T. Davis, and Clay Dog. All right, next up, OPS, highest and lowest.
Lowest OPS. Again, it's Nimmo. 698. 698. Oh my goodness. Star with a 7. 2 points. The Holler 3 points away. 698 exactly. Late to hate. Hey, Claydog, that's a good idea. Maybe next time we'll do that. When you're not in the first place tie. You know you won't be in the first place side if we ever implement that rule next time. That is true, though. There should be some acknowledgement for making it that far in the Survivor style part. That is a good point. The highest OPS was 1255. 1255. A 1240 from Rev Jr. I don't see anyone closer than Rev Jr.'s 1240. Yep, it's Rev Jr. All right, so that's 8 for Star, 7 for Rev Jr., 7 for Holler, several with 6. Okay, strikeout percentage. Minimum 300. Oh, Vientos, 28.2. Oh my goodness. Corsoval Germ with a 28. Star with a 28. They are the closest. Star is starting to pull away. Okay. Highest WAR. $12.5 by Ted Williams. 12.5. T. Davis is 0.9 away. No one under gets closer, though. So 13.4 takes it. T. Davis gets a 7th point. All right, strikeouts thrown. We're switching to the pitching stats now. Pedro with 417. Did anyone guess even close to that high? 417. The highest guess is going to take it. 343 by T. Davis. I see Claydog went with the meme guess. If you had gone 369, you would have taken it. Okay, highest and lowest ERAs. Again, there are some original Mets on here. Tonkin, not enough innings. We go to Peterson with a 4.33. .26 by late to hate. I think it's the closest. Yeah. Nicely done. All right, next up, lowest ERA, at least 100 innings pitched. Pedro with a 2.29. Leopard with a 2.34 is 0.05 away. Leopard's the closest. All right, the Chasers are running out of questions here. Star has 9. Oh, yeah. I can make the column smaller. Yeah, sorry. All right, so Star has 9. Leopard has 7. Late to Hate has 7. T. Davis has 8. And then we have a couple with 6. But Star in the driver's seat with 9. Now, the one thing the Chasers have in their favor is whoever, if there's a tie at the end, whoever got the latest answer right breaks the tie. Okay, highest and lowest whips, at least 100 innings pitched. Highest whip, 169. Very nice whip, but not enough innings pitched. David Peterson with a 1.3. 1.30. Corsical Germ very close to the 1.33. Holler with a 1.31, but Leopard with a 1.3 exactly just gets Holler and Claydog, who are 0.01 away. So Leopard steals that one and jumps up to 8 for second place right now. Lowest whip, Pedro with a 0.84. Corsical Germ with a 0.85. Corsical Germ playing spoiler here takes away a point from everybody else. All right, home runs per 9. Got to go to... Again, we're looking for 100 innings pitched. So Manea with a 1.2. Corsical Germ gets that exactly. Yep. Corsical Germ playing spoiler at the end. Let's see. Star with 9. Leopard with 8. T. Davis with 8. Now, if Leopard or T. Davis can get this... Yeah, Katie Fufu with the 69. Amazing. 69 home runs for 9. Now, if Star and one of these others gets it right, then Star will still win. But if one of these others gets it, if it's Leopard or T. Davis, anyone else in Star will win. And the question is, pitcher war. Pedro with a 12.4. Corsical Germ takes it and protects Star's lead. So that means Star definitely has first place. Now we go to second place. We have a tie between Leopard and T. Davis, who each have 8. But Leopard got the most recent answer right between the two. Does anyone else have 8? Psycho Ducko was 6. Holler was 7. Claydog was 6. Yeah, I think it's these two. T. Davis was 8. Leopard was 8, but Leopard got one more recently. So Leopard takes second. Congratulations. Now let's see. If we had done that rule where who were our 2 finalists? It was Claydog. It was Claydog and Psycho Ducko. And so if I had given them a point, theoretically, it still wouldn't have mattered. It still would have been Star and Leopard. But I think that is a good rule, Claydog. I think that makes sense. In fact, you could argue that it's worth more than 1 point. We could say, like, you get a 2-point head start or something. It didn't matter. Give me the point. Okay. I'm going to +1. Oh, wait, no. It's got to be... I have to do a little apostrophe. +1. +1 there. And Psycho Ducko also gets a little +1. There. I can't argue with that, Claydog. I'm giving you the +1. I think, though, in future rounds, I do like giving the folks who made it to that. And I actually am thinking about making it a 2-point head start because we have so many questions. Because what everyone else gets is they get to come back in. But let's give the people who made it that far a little head start. Yeah. I like it. We are continuously evolving. All right. That was pretty fun. I hope you all had a good time. I enjoyed watching some of my favorite players making the Mets better and winning a world championship with them. Let's go ahead and save that. All right. And if you want to do something similar, we have a few historic games that are now back on because we have the single season import now. I had taken some of our historic games off out of the rotation, but now that we have the single season import, I think all of these are now back in play. Now some of them we never took out of rotation. You could have kept playing them. Force 4 Trades is in the same season, so it doesn't matter about the import rules. And Major League Farm Team and Shopping Spree also within the same season. But peak performances, this is where your favorite team or whatever team you choose to play, you can take any 5 players and replace them with whatever you think are the peak versions of that player. So if one of your favorite teams of all time has like some washed up veterans or some future superstars, you can replace them with whatever you think are the best versions of themselves and replay that season. And then the other one like that is teammate trios, where you pick your team, whatever season, whatever year, and then you can go back to any season, back or forwards, to any other season in that franchise's history and bring 3 teammates from that other season to your season. Right? So if you're a Yankee fan, you can go back to the 27 Yankees if you want. If you're a Mets fan, you're kind of out of luck. But if you're a Twins fan, you can go back to like the Senators if you want to, and bring back Walter Johnson and 2 other people. And so I think these are all pretty fun games. Hall of Fame and pretty good. I'm actually thinking about just making it Hall of Fame and anybody because what you can do is like take any Hall of Famer and one of their teammates. It could be a Hall of Fame. So I could be the Mets and I can go back and take a Babe Ruth and a Lou Gehrig from the same season. And so the idea is you get, the number of players goes up as the diminishing returns become smaller. So Shopping Spree you get the most because you're kind of limited by who were the free agents that year. And the pickings definitely become slimmer. So these are all open. I think everything but the original creator roster are open. We already have a couple channel point redemptions, which reminds me I need to get in touch in Discord with a couple of folks to schedule their play. But yeah, all these games are channel point redemptions. You just get them for hanging out in the stream. So if you want to play, let me know, and we can set it up. All right. Let's find somewhere to raid into. It is pretty late, so we probably missed the live sumo of Midnight Sumo. Oh, no, wait. It says live sumo still. Let me take a look. Okay, yeah, they're wrapping up, but they will follow with a repeat of tonight's action. But let me see if there's someone else live that we can raid into. John Lee Music is playing chess right now. All right, you know what? Let's do it. Let's raid into Midnight Sumo. We'll catch the repeat. I want to see the repeat. So we'll raid into Midnight Sumo. So the commentary won't be live. It'll be the recorded commentary from the original playthrough. But Midnight Sumo is Canadian. He does English language commentary on Japanese sumo tournaments. There's a big 2-week sumo tournament going on right now, and so I've been raiding into him a lot. And it's a really fun way to learn about sumo. And when the sumo goes to commercial, he plays like vintage Japanese commercials.
and this the tournament's about to end right now, but he will go right to a replay of tonight's action with tonight's commentary. So it'll still be like watching it. You just won't be able to chat with him in real time. All right, thanks for being here. I'll be on again tomorrow night after Ezra Denny around 10 p.m. Pacific time.
Why do you keep following me around?